Good afternoon, good afternoon. How's it going? Welcome back. Hope you had a lovely weekend. We've had a 2-day break here at Ninja Pools. We are back, as you may have noticed. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Right, let's get going. Enough of this. Sacrifice. Hello, good sir. How you doing? Lily Dryad. Belorda. Now it's the right time. Exactly, yeah. Brad Dog, hello. How you doing?
Hello there.
Hello there. Hey, likes to play catch. Hope you all had a lovely Sunday and Monday. I trust. Oh no, my inventory is full? You gotta be kidding me. What a great way to start. Alright, not gonna lie, I'm a little bit low on energy today because after one of our trials yesterday evening, finished at 11 in the evening, there was one of those dangerous hangs where a few of us just kind of stayed in voice chat, and it was a really lovely hang, so it went on far too late, and today is not a day off for me, so I did not get enough sleep. Belorda, I gather you didn't either? The bona fide, howdy! Or bona fide B. I studied Latin, so I want to say bona fide, but I know that sounds lame. Even if it is correct. Welcome on in, how's it going? Gotta be careful not to decon the stuff I just made. Don't want that. I'm to blame, kept him up. You can blame Pluvio and Dubious Kieran a little bit maybe as well, but yeah, alright. We'll blame Belorda. But yeah, that's what it used to be like, man. We would, that's how I got most of my characters leveled and all that stuff. Via just hanging out with buddies in the evening during lockdown, you know, which is when I first really started playing The Elder Scrolls Online kind of seriously, like a lot of hours per week. And it became my default game instead of just something which I would dip in and out of, as I'd done since launch. Yeah, then it really became like the thing that we did. And there were a lot of evening hangs like that. Because, yeah, most of us had nowhere to be in the morning. Most of us were working from home. Crazy. Slept less than 4 hours. Yeah, I think I got 4.5. So I'm slightly ahead of you. But I hope you're doing okay, Belorda. Yeah, it's a lovely hang. Speaking of the guild Discord, we have got a VHOF loot run coming up later. It is for people who know the trial. But yeah, if anyone has, like, if you've come over from console to PCEU recently and you don't have all the stuff in VHOF collected, or you just want a couple of free achievements or whatever, yeah, we're going to be doing that at 7 PM UK time today. And it's one of our prog groups. We've got 3 people missing, so I cancelled the regular prog, and one of the tanks has not finished his war machine for whatever reason. So we thought, oh, let's fuck it, we'll go there, we'll do 3 quick clears, hopefully, and get that done. Did Mo stop playing the game? My friend's Lissa says last time 4 months ago. Exoib, yeah, man. As far as I'm aware, he will be back. It's just IRL stuff kind of made it impossible for him to commit to prog groups, and he was a raid lead in one of our groups. Funnily enough, one of our other raid leads got a job and got a lady and all of this stuff at the same time, and one of the other ones got quite sick. I think he's coming back, but he just had to focus on his own health for a while, and at the same time Mo had other reasons he couldn't commit. So like all 3 of our raid leads, other than me and Papa Jester in Ninja Balls, were suddenly like not around. So we had 3 prog groups that I suddenly had to pick up and run every week. And yeah, one of them still hasn't come back, the Don group. It's almost full. That's a Saturday morning prog group. We're doing VAS at the moment, or we hope to be. And you might not realize this, guys, but 9 AM on a Saturday morning, I guess it'd be 10 AM for many of you if you're on the continent, is actually, I think it might be the best time to run trials in the entire week. Sounds weird, but it works. It's like definitely the most fun group. Definitely. And Sticko, hello. Thank you for the string of emojis there. Love it. Love that shit. Yeah, that's too early for me. Boo. Yeah. Everyone says that. Is that because you just don't function at that time, or is it just... No, I've got other stuff going on that early in the day. Exor, yeah, thanks for clarifying. Fellow Danes stick together. Exactly. We're still in touch. Maya's messaging him now and again, I believe. But yeah, poor guy. I don't think he wanted to step away from the game as far as I understand it, but sometimes what's going on IRL just means I really don't have the opportunity to spend my evenings on this right now. You know what I mean? Man, my inventory is so full. We might have to do a very boring warm-up to the stream today. Khan sorts out his fucking inventory. But whatever. We've all got to do it. $7 p.m. tonight, too early. Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you were talking about 9 a.m. on a Sunday. Saturday, rather. But yeah, so if any of you haven't joined the Discord, or if you are on the Discord and hadn't noticed, Maya put out a couple of recruitment calls for this one. 7 p.m. tonight. It is a loot run, so you really do need to know the trial. You don't necessarily need to have done the hard mode before, because the hard mode in there is almost identical to the vet. Especially these days, you can just skip everything. Wow. Crazy Dunmer vampire lady, look at that. She definitely looks like someone in front of her in the line just cracked one off, and she's not happy about it. I reckon it's this guy here. This hooded dude just let one go. Or maybe it's Aquaman, look at that. Oh, that's gold. Zdenya, hello! Yes, it's been really fun lately. Helped a random dude with some crafting stuff. Then I just started him leveling, and now we've been playing every day together. Dailies and stuff. Suddenly the game became 10 times more fun. Wow, that's awesome. This is just not someone you know IRL, just some random person you bumped into online. I love that. And Saturday morning, would love to, but everyone's ears would bleed from all the kids. We're in VAS at the moment, so no need for like major call-outs all the time. If you actually wanted to think about it, you could be muted and like use push to talk or whatever. But yeah. And the Bonafide B. Any NA groups in the Ninja Balls Discord? Yeah, so we have a guild on the NA server, and there is a trial group which is just doing basic stuff, just plain vets at the moment, and it is not full. So if you are at the stage, like if you're super endgamey, I probably wouldn't recommend joining unless you really want to go back to basics or learn things on a new role. But if you're relatively new to trials or like medium experienced, then yeah, we've got a group and we need people. So join the Discord and sign up. Maya and Jester are working on that. I think we've got 9 people in the group now, committed. So, but as always, it's a matter of time. Like, it's so difficult to find time for all the things I need to do. It's crazy. Let's see, have I got my settings turned all the way up? I don't think I do. Let's fix that real quick. How many kids? Don't ask. Isn't it 8? Likes to play catch. And Melora said, yeah, playing with others really increases the fun. It really does. Absolutely. That is when the game really popped for me. I was already impressed with it. I thought it was a good game. But it was not my main game. I was playing other things more often than I was playing this. Until Maya took an interest and we started playing together. My god, my cat is howling. Howling. I've got a Bengal cat called Teddy. Or Ted. And I don't know why. It's not his feeding time, but maybe he's just had a poo. Or he just killed a spider. And he feels the need to like walk around the house going, arr, 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 arr. He's doing that right now. I guess you guys, it's probably a little bit too quiet for you to hear him. And the Exoid, Varan Aquamanios, the new prophet. I love that. I am Varan Aquamanios. Vestige. Just a random dude based in the UK. Love it. Lily Dryad and the kids picking up the calls and just randomly start shouting taunt and other stuff. Yeah. Kite. Block. Oh no. Don't give him ideas. But if I'd being very new, haven't even made it to level 50 yet. Yeah, no rush, man. Just trying to find friends to play with. I see. Right. Well, you can certainly use our Discord for that. Sadly, I'm not playing on the NA server a ton, but I do need to. So I will keep that in mind. If you want to ping me, if you want to DM me a message, if your username on Discord is different, and then I'll sort of have a record of it. I'm just at the Khan. But yeah, you can find me on the Discord very easily. I'm very chatty. The guy with the Doom guy face as my profile icon. And then yeah, when Maya and I are on the NA server doing something like a trial, or just collecting some gear, whatever, we will remember to think of you. What is going on with all the animations? Look at my character's hair. Is it just really windy here? It's not supposed to be blown back like that. Either that, or she just started using a really bad shampoo. I did have a friend who had dreadlocks at university. I lived with a guy who walked around topless most of the time. He used to be a model. And he had dreads. White guy dreads. And he did say, like, he gave me a long explanation of, like, how horrible they are to keep clean at one point. So I guess, yeah, if you're not careful, this can happen. But come on, Zos. There's so many bugs in this new update due to the animation changes. I do like the feel of the new light attacks in isolation. They feel slightly delayed, but the animations themselves feel quite nice. It's just, they interact weirdly with, in case you guys didn't know this, if your character is behaving weirdly, we've had some people saying, oh my god, the new animations suck. I cannot play like this. Try unequipping your personality. For what it might help, might. I'm not saying this will fix it, but there are some personalities which simply weren't working last week. Like, you could do this and go through them, and your character just wouldn't do anything. But look, a lot of the issues, they're so jerky. You know, the character will just kind of pop without going through the intervening stages of animation. You know, you're just going from one state, boom. Oh no, there we go. With no, like, change between keyframes to all the animators out there. Do you see what I mean? Like that, some of them work, others, they just kind of pop in and out. Like, yeah, that's really awkward. It's not a huge deal, but it does beg the question, why do this for what seems to be marginal memory usage gains when it's created so many bugs they didn't seem to be aware of? I mean, there's no way they were aware, otherwise they wouldn't have put the changes through. Anyway, Melody, you started 2014 with 3 others. Sadly, questing wasn't really nice back then as a group. I see. And Guns N' Raiders. Howdy. Hope you and Maya are good. Yeah, pretty good, thank you. A little bit tired today. Likes to play catch. We have 8 kids. 6 of them are under 10. Oh, 6 of them are 10 and under, sorry. There's a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 6, and then 2 little ladies that are 4 and are 2 years old. Wow. That is lovely, isn't it? That is wild. It's like the beginning of a joke. That many kids. I'm amazed you have any time to yourself, you know. Massive kudos. Right, let's maybe get some of these Witches Festival daily things. I never do these. Unless anyone in chat wants these. If any of you are on PCEU right now, you can port to me and take these off my hands. Because it says I can sell them, but I'm not going to. They won't sell for anything. Yeah, so I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to do them for a little bit of XP. And for the hell of it, I haven't done any in years. So those 6 in a small living room directly behind me while sat at a desk could be a lot of fun. It could be fun, man. That sounds awesome. And Lord, last week someone joined Bislobo's chat and asked him if he wasn't doing any light attacks just because of the new faster animations. Yeah, you typically can't tell anyway, can you? But you can sort of feel and see a slight difference. Some people aren't noticing it. Some people aren't really getting any problems. Most of the time I'm fine. But yeah, there are times when it feels a little bit janky with the new stuff. Archmage Azdara, yeah, port to me, please do. If you need to group up and make sure I'm online, you can whisper at the Khan, K-A-A-N. And Lily tried also saying, oh, alright, how about that? You guys will get 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have 5 each. And Tone7 MCA on YouTube. Fairly experienced, used close to meta builds, adapted for my playstyle. Light attack weaving okay, DPS doesn't slap. My max is about 95k. Suggestions, PS5 player. Ooh. It would be so helpful if you had this add-on. I don't think this exists on console yet. But let me just... So, apologies. This will seem like useless context, but hopefully... So, the main source of damage loss... This is my Templar Necro Nightblade. Main source of damage loss is this. So, it is the time in between your skills. And it's not to do with making your light attacks go through. It is the gaps between casts, right? So I'll show you this one because the weaving here is pretty good. In 2¼ minutes, I spent less than 2 seconds idle. But typically you'll see people with like 8 seconds, 10 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds here. And it adds to a lot of time in between casts. So... Generally, if your gear, your setup is all... Make sure those tweaks that you've made aren't a DPS loss. Then look at... I typically look at stats first. So you start here. This is a Magicka character, so make sure these are all in the right ballpark. If one of them is suspiciously low, a lot of builds have very low crit chance, for example, but make sure the pen and all of that stuff is correct. Then... Check your gear, your enchants, all of that. Make sure they match up with what the sort of the common received wisdom is suggesting at that time. So charged typically on the dummy. It doesn't have to be. You can go known precise. Make sure you've got the right status effects, and then go into uptimes. So stats, gear, enchantments, traits, that kind of stuff, and then look at uptimes. And if any of these uptimes are bad, like this is a 20-second dot, 21, that's not great. I could shave that down a little bit. Barb Trap is good, Stampede is fine, because this is an 18-second rotation. But that's a place where I could gain a little bit of damage, go for a 15-second recast on that, but I've done that for ease of use. And to conserve stamina, frankly. Yeah, so start looking at what you might be able to do better. And then things like priority cast, blast bones, for instance, power of the light, you know, whatever it is. What are your priority casts? How far apart are they? I know you're going to struggle to check this on the PlayStation, but yeah, try to make sure your priority casts are always being done on cooldown. So then we're getting into the rotation itself, right? And if you can check, and then finally your weaving average, and if you are really struggling to measure that, either of you guys ported to me yet? I'm here. Archmage Astara, yeah, PCEU, yeah. Probably not phased with you coming group me. Yeah, okay. Invite at... There we go. Yeah, you're right next to me, I see. And Lily, come port as well. Now you can get the other half. If you need them. And check back in at the end of the event. I'll probably ask the same question again if anyone's missing that achievement. Or if they just want these Witches' Festival writs. You know, they give you a little bit of XP and writ vouchers, so... Right, I'm porting to you. Okay, that's brilliant. The fact I see the drumsticks, but not you. Yeah, Tones, really appreciate your response. Thank you. No problem at all. Sorry I can't be of more help, but I have done... This is a lot of work for me, so please think carefully before doing. But if you are really stuck, if you have a way to record what you're doing, and then post it in our Discord, I have done this for people before. There we go. Enjoy. I've invited Lily. Yeah, no worries. No worries, Azdara. Enjoy. Alright, Lily, where are you? I guess you're on a loading screen. I'm trying to throw you an invite. Oh, nice. Sweet. Let me make absolutely sure I don't have any more.
It is good to me.
Oh no, I do have more. Don't know how many of these you need to do, even.
Prices have never been better.
Oh, thanks, Asdar. Do you need any of these? Let's have a look. Let's click through them. Don't need that one. That one I'll take if it's going. Are you sure you don't want to sell it? It looks quite valuable. Wormwrithe boots, I don't have, apparently. And the grave marker, I don't have that either. Yeah, I mean, if you're sure you don't want to keep them, maybe sell that cage wall one rather than giving it to me. I can pass it on to Maya. She loves furnishing and housing and stuff. But yeah, see, that seems to be worth 26k. So I'll give you a few seconds to cancel, given the delay on Twitch before I accept. Alright, thanks. Thank you very much. I'll pass that one on to Maya. That'd be cool. Let's have a look. What does it look like? Ooh. That is the cage from Balsanar, isn't it? And I've got a few more of these writs if you want. Sorry, I should have added them to the last trade. $28 for the achievement, and there are 2 left if either of you want them. Lily's ported off, so 2 more if you want. And like I said, once the event is over, I'll probably have a few more. If there's anyone on that day who doesn't have that achievement yet. Boom! That was efficient. That was faster than me doing all of them. So appreciate it, guys. And Lily, you're welcome. Yeah, likes to play catch. Sometimes it's as simple as changing Mundus. Yeah, it could be that. On the damage side. But yeah, what I was gonna say, Tones, if you're really not sure about the weaving, this is a weird thing. And this is gonna throw off the stream, because this is gonna be copyrighted, but screw it. Let's just give you guys... If you go to YouTube and type in Mustang Sally, this is a bit of a meme, but it actually does work. Some people struggle to visualize or realize that 1 second rhythm. You got to find a song which has 59 beats per minute, basically, and this one is almost perfect. It's not the only one, I'm sure, but it's slightly slower than one beat per second. You know, 59 every 60 seconds. So if you weave in time with this... It's not going to work for everyone, but... If you weave in time with that... Dum, dum, da-dum, 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 that's actually going to work. Sometimes I make it as a funny suggestion, but I've had a lot of messages from people. Every time I post this, if someone's really, really struggling with weaving speed, especially folks on console who now you've got more and more add-ons which are going to help you to do that, but you know, 6 months ago, that wasn't a thing. So it's relatively recent that add-ons have been available on console. So I had a lot of people messaging me every time I would post this and say, actually, not gonna lie, that really helped. Because eventually it'll get into your muscle memory and you won't, like, as you can see, I've got an add-on here with that little red bar bottom of my screen. I barely pay any attention to it anymore, certainly not in combat. It's if I'm doing dummy humping or whatever, it can be quite nice to have it there just to make sure your weaving is super on point. I think I would struggle to get these kind of weaving averages, you know, 0.013. That's pretty low for me. I don't think I'd get it that low without the add-ons help, probably. But in a trial, there's no way I'm getting those. See, if I got one that's in a trial. I used to. Yeah, here's one from Sail Ripper. Yeah, look, it's... oh, that's an Arcanist. Shit. That's a bad example. Do I have one that's not an Arcanist? Damn it. Alright, forget it. That's actually hilarious. What? 36 seconds. So this is one of the side bosses in Dreadsail Reef. I cast 11 things. 16 things in that entire fight. That's hilarious, man. How much DPS was it? 160? Only 125 on the main target. 203? Yeah, fun stuff. That's from ages ago. This is all pre-subclassing. Alright, where were we? Welcome on in, everybody. My name is Khan. This is Ninja Pulls, and it's just me. Today, Maya, the other half, the better half of Ninja Pulls, is at work. Running the show down there at her cookery school. Right, let's log through another few characters, and then we'll get going with some event stuff. The Lord Glowin. How to get the Twitch drops? You just watch any channel that's streaming ESO. They are on for another 10 days or something like that. I think it's like the 16th. Forgive my ignorance. I should know exactly which day it ends, but you have plenty of time. I think it's 1 hour, 4 hours, 8 hours, something like that. But I will, when I finish streaming, in a few hours' time, I will raid off to somebody else who is playing Elder Scrolls Online. So you can relax. You can ride this stream, you can ride this channel all the way, probably, to get your drops in one go. Just make sure that your Twitch account is linked to your Elder Scrolls Online account. Not your Steam account, but ESO specifically. The drops will be available, but you won't be able to actually claim what you've earned in-game until you do that. That makes sense. Yeah, thanks, Pelorda. If anyone wasn't sure why I was trading those blue Witches Festival crafting writs, that's why. If you do 28 of those, you will get a title, Witch, and the Witch's Hat. It's very cool. And Tones, yeah, I'm loving the old school Templar rotation you did, just the way I like to play. Yeah, man, it's really fun. I wish it was a bit stronger. Or I wish the upper end of damage would just, especially single target, if they could just bring it the hell down a bit. Because that is such a fun rotation. It was actually a suggestion from someone here in Twitch chat. Saying, hey, here's an idea for a video. How about some DPS classes which retain 2 of their original skill lines, like a Sork with Storm Calling and Daedric Summoning, for example, or a Nightblade maybe with Shadow and Assassination, this kind of thing. And yeah, I thought it was a nice idea, and the Templar one in particular is probably the best bet for that. It's one of the coolest rotations, and it has 2 skill lines which are very popular, for good reason. Adric Spear and Dawn's Wrath. So yeah, that's why I did that one, but should be more stuff like that coming. If not on YouTube, then certainly on the website. There are a bunch of builds that I have now pretty much made and finalized, rotations drawn up. I just need a day where I can spend updating the website, or like Well, like 3 or 4 days, really. And I can't see that coming down the line anytime soon. So I'm having to grab, like, little periods of 4 hours here and there. It's brutal. I have to stop doing anything fun in the evenings and just work, like, 18 hours a day on ninja pulls. That's what it's going to take. That's what I'm going to have to do. Bit too soft, this song. It's not about the... like, how heavy it is. It's just about the perfect timing of it. And like I said, it's mostly a joke when I suggest this, but people have come back to me every time and say, you know what, that actually helped me. So, yeah. So if it's helping people, I'm definitely not going to argue. Alright, I'm going to come back to this guy in a minute and do some dailies. Let's just pick up Ritz and the rest of my characters. Kiddinks, hello, hello. And Lena Elvira, finally able to stop lurking. Husband interrupted and wanted to have lunch with me just as I was about to watch the stream. Rude. Well, say hi to your husband. Why do I have a random heroism potion in my inventory? Just one? You know, that's gonna bug me. I'm just gonna eat it. Just for neatness sake. That's probably worth like 20k or something, isn't it? I don't know. Don't know how much they're worth individually. Man, it's my least favorite thing about events. It's all the junk. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm sure you all have this by now, but if anyone is missing the Hag Matron's face marking, not Hagmatron, Hag Matron. It totally looks like Hagmatron. If anyone's missing that, again, you can port to me. I'm here. Or you can just whisper me. Yeah, Necro works well too. Imperiex, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome on in. Thanks for the blurb, man. Love it. How was your weekend? Welcome back. And happy Tuesday. Bad husband wanting to do stuff together, yeah. Lena Elvira, no, right? He only likes this stream when Maya reads the Lusty Argonian. Alright. I can get with that. A man of taste and distinction. Oh my, good sir. I can't do it, but yeah. It's so funny when she does that. I think it really messes with her throat, though. And on YouTube, Big Country, hello, 95k on console is pretty decent. Seen videos of 141, but these are cheese builds. They don't really run that build in a trial. There are builds that can do 104, like the one I just showed you, 153k. That is exactly what I would use in a trial. In fact, I would probably use something a little bit better. And there are, yeah, the builds that do 170k, you can totally use those in a trial. There are some differences clearly between the dummy and the conditions that you have there, but most builds that you will see actually recommended are not for the dummy. Sure, if you go to Alduin's YouTube or Charles, they will be doing a bunch of things like using single stat food and pure single target setups. They'll be using the Huntsman's War Mask, you know, things like that, which individually will bump up the damage a little bit. Previous patches, you would have seen people using Highland Sentinel, it does work in some trials, but only really at the top end of things. You know, quite static fights and very, very good groups when nobody dies. The fight is incredibly consistent. So yeah, the top performing groups, you would have seen stuff like that used more and more and more. But yeah, the differences that you would make to those setups, taking them from the dummy and into a trial fight, specifically a single target trial fight, are relatively minor. You know, we're not talking about, you won't generally change the gear, you won't change the mundus, you're not changing generally, in fact, sometimes it'll be even easier because you'll have heroism already, minor heroism, sorry, from a banner often, so you won't need to use heroism potions like you do on the dummy. So you could make the argument the other way, that in some ways they're more restrictive. Sustain is worse on the dummy. There are a couple of buffs you don't get. You know, things like this. There's no knife on the dummy, for example. So, I don't know. You definitely got a point, but don't think that everything that people are using on the dummy is a quote-unquote cheese build. It's a myth in the mid-game that the dummy is stupid or the dummy is bad and people who visit the dummy are bad players. It's absolutely not. It's the opposite of what I've found. I've run into the occasional person who's obsessed with dummy numbers because they get into that mindset where they just want to beat their personal best or whatever, which is cool, but then they lose sight of the fact that you also have to be able to play the fight and not let the fight play you, and then that's what happens and they die. But those people are relatively few and far between. I think most people who visit the dummy in order to improve their DPS output, that's just one of the things that they're doing to improve their performance in trials. So 95k, congrats to anyone who's getting that. And you're right, we've got fewer tools on console to help us analyze and push those numbers, but it's by no means where you should stop. Like, no one should be looking at, I finally got 100k, now I can, you know, I've capped everything out. Like, when the DPS cap these days is 170 something, like 174 might be the highest I've seen. It seems insane to be satisfied with 100k, which, yeah, 5-6 years ago was very, very good. If you get to 105k on a Stamina Necromancer, you were pretty close to capping out that damage class. But, a lot has changed. Not least the dummy. It's not that DPS has risen by, you know, another 70%. Imperiax, hey, hey, hey. Well, come on then. But Lord is saying, at the end of each day, I will destroy the rune boxes. No space for them. Yeah, fair enough. Briar Tug off for a nap. See you guys. Oh, I'm sorry I missed that, Briar. But yeah, if you can still hear me, have a lovely, lovely snooze. Imperiax Inventory Management, Wednesday, in 17 minutes. Lily Dryad, bought the Orionith weapons yesterday. They look sick on my Necro. Oh, they're available? Didn't even see that. Probably my Necro looks sick, yeah. Imperiax, I finally broke 100k a few days ago. My Arcanist was so proud. Hell yeah! Love it. And don't get me wrong, if people want to stop, like if they are thinking, oh, this is actually perfect, big country, this is one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and Imperiax. If people are of that mindset where, you know, I don't think I'll ever want to do sweaty group trials. I will just do kind of more chill groups that don't require anything too stringent, where people are free to kind of bring what they want. And if that means I won't get to do the latest hard modes, I'll have to wait for a couple of years, or maybe 4 or 5 years until they come down in difficulty, or power creep comes to the point where they become much more crushable, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. What I wanted to talk about today, among other things, whilst being silly with you guys, is I want to see if we can encourage each other to do something new in ESO. Those things that people aren't doing, primarily because they think they're not ready or that they cannot do them. Like, I don't think I could learn to tank. I'm scared of that. I don't think I want a dungeon group. I don't know if I'm good enough. I kind of like the idea of it, but I'm not sure I'm good enough to be able to keep up with the other 3 people in my group. Someone who doesn't want to do trials, or who doesn't want to join a guild and get into organized trials because they think people are going to be dicks, or there's going to be pressure, or they won't have the freedom to play the class or the setup that they like. Let's talk about those things, and let's try to squash them one by one. Because this is one of the things Belorda and I were talking about on Voice yesterday. It is such a shame how many people lock themselves out of fun experiences and cool content in this game because they see it as too difficult, or they see it as too much work, or whatever it is. Yeah, there is some difficulty, there is some work. I'm not gonna lie to you, like some of those people on YouTube. Solo anything, the only build you'll ever need. Never click on anything like this. Okay? Unless it's Hyperioxys. When he says solo anything, he's pretty much almost telling the truth. Not quite, but basically stay away from... Other than Hyper, I wouldn't take any YouTube thumbnail seriously which says that. And if I ever release a YouTube video with that thumbnail, you guys can lynch me. Unless I do it ironically. Pro Star, I feel like I tank better on my DPS character than I do on my actual tank. Well, happy to talk to you about that if you like. I've tanked not everything in this game, but pretty much. I haven't tanked the newest hard modes, the Ossie and Cage hard modes. I'm trying to think of anything else that I haven't tanked. I think that might be it. I've never main tanked Teleria hard mode, but I've off tanked it. Or have I? Jesus, I can't remember. I'm usually the guy who... I'm either the tank, because we couldn't find one in our groups, or I'm the first person to step in when the tank has a week off. So yeah, feel free to bring the questions, guys. Imperiex, I've been getting more hardcore, but I really don't want to be like that. Happy being a casual, just having fun. Yeah, just have fun. Don't forget to have fun. People forget it sometimes. Absolutely right. But also the idea that the players who are playing beyond a certain point aren't having fun, that is a dangerous and silly line of thinking as well. That thing that Rich Lambert said, and I'm sure he didn't mean it to sound the way it did, because he's a smart man. But when he said at the tavern this year, yeah, there are some people who just optimize the fun out of the game. I was like, what are you talking about? For these guys, the optimization, the speedrunning, that is the fun. You go to an event on Twitch like GCD. Oh, sorry, GD's Games Done Quick. GDQ. I had to like say it in my head first. You know, Summer Games Done Quick or Awesome Games Done Quick. You guys seen this? The speedrunning charity events? Nobody in their right mind looks at those speedruns and say, yeah, well, they've taken all the fun out of it. No, these things are hilariously good fun. It's a really awesome challenge. And there's a lot of laughter. There are smiles from ear to ear on everyone's faces when they are seeing these runs and doing them. So it seems crazy to me that you would look at a group that is seeking better performance and assume they're having a shit time. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Nina Elvira, in the spirit, I'm actually making a new main character after 11 years. That freaks me out, not using my OG. Ooh, I see. What, like do quests and stuff, or when you say make a new main? That's interesting. Lena, tell us more about what you mean by that. And Rigor Mortis, I often don't apply to raid groups because I think I'm too bad as a DPS. My advice there would be then find the group administrator or the raid lead. It's often the same person. Sometimes it's two different people. And just have a conversation. Usually, you'll find that they are interested in who is in their group, right? So even if somebody applies and it's not a good fit, it's like, no, we just had someone apply for one of our groups to tank, and it didn't look like they had quite enough experience. And normally, we wouldn't be very strict about it, but it's quite a difficult set of hard modes that this group is trying to go through. And if we have to wait several weeks while a new tank learns how to do it, that might be okay at the beginning of a prog, but when you're several months into a prog already, you don't want to hold the group back in that way. Do you know what I mean? So, but Maya's just been having a conversation with this person, and they're both just being real with one another. What haven't you done? Where are you at? Do you realistically think yada yada yada? And you can usually get a read off someone if they're full of shit, or if they're just looking for a carry or whatever. It's rare. It's very rare. So yeah, Rigor Mortis, talk to whoever's in charge about the group. Why does it say this in your requirements? If somebody applies to one of my groups and there is like a, I don't know, 120k DPS requirement, we don't usually give a shit what they get on the dummy. It's just we don't have any other way to really talk about or gauge where you are, how interested and able are you to optimize, because this is a relatively optimized group, yada yada yada. The Dawn group I was talking about, the one that runs on Saturday mornings, that is probably one of the more flexible ones until we get close to a particular, like if we're on that knife edge, you know, when we are, oh man, if we just stepped up in this area, we would make our lives so much easier. So please, can the DDs do this? That's what Mo and I would do in that group. When he was leading it and when I was leading it, very similar attitudes. Generally, bring what you like so long as it works. And only if you're like really, really behind in terms of deaths or damage or something else that is just not right with your build, then we're not going to tell people off. We'll help them to fix it. Because you're not going to be having fun in a trial if you're the one who's dead all the time. Or if you're always bottom of the list, kind of sucks. So, yeah. But Lord would say, bullshit, Rigger. Archmage Zara Hyperoxys pumps such good builds, and he's consistent about it. Yeah, he tests. And he uses things. He's a very good player, he's a very knowledgeable guy, he's a lovely guy as well. He doesn't want to bullshit anyone. I don't think... Of course, he wants to make a little bit of pocket money from YouTube. Everyone who's on there wants to do that. But I never get the read from Hyperoxys that he will just abandon all efforts to like help anyone or give good advice or give correct advice just in order to make a more clickable YouTube video. And I gotta be honest with you, that is what a lot of the content creators are doing. Usually the ones who don't play the game much or at all, but they have these channels which are established and they get a lot of hits. Like we were looking at this just the other day. Yesterday we were talking about if you look for an Infinite Archive build. Apparently one of our videos is in there. It's not really a build. It's just a video advising you not to bring just one build. The whole point is you should have at least a couple for Infinite Archive. And don't make that mistake of bringing a super tanky setup for Arc 10 and then just have a terrible, terrible time in Arcs 1 and 2 when you're bored because it takes forever. You've got no damage. And don't do that thing where you bring a build like I might use, which is fine for Arcs 1, 2, 3, 4, starts to get a little bit squishy and a little bit difficult. Don't bring one of those and that's all. If you want to get to Arc 8, you're not going to be able to do it. You need to switch up at some point, equip some heavy armor, etc., etc. And that was the point. But the other videos that you will see are bait, basically. And it's a shame. It's very easy to do. Elder Scrolls Online is not the only game which has this. It's a business model that some people follow. And it is a shame. Because the people who... It's to the detriment of the people that you are trying to help, or you should be trying to help, right? People who are new to the game, like recently we've got a load of people from New World coming over to ESO. They're definitely going to go to YouTube and look for builds that are going to save them a little bit of time. So they don't have to look it up all by themselves. And some of them are going to land on their feet and find Hyperoxys. Some of them will be a little bit unlucky and find maybe a video by me that's old. So it's good advice, but it's out of date. You know, it might be pre-subclassing or whatever. It's one of the reasons we're rushing to update the website now in November. And some people will land on these places that get a lot of hits, but which aren't really trying to help anyone except themselves. And yeah, you want to push back here and then, and Hyper does a great job with that. Bluvio, 6 hours. Nice one. Bluvio, Hype has decency to consistently test and provide logs for his builds and content. Exactly. Decency is a good word. Never would, Rigger. How much sleep did you get? 6 hours? Doing stuff fast is fun. Exactly. Lord, I was up to 8 AM again, and then at 7 my alarm went off because I had to take meds. That's when I want to sleep. That's when I went to sleep, but luckily I don't have to wake up for anything, so I get to sleep. Yeah, I did not have a day off today, so I was up at 7:30. But yeah, thanks for yesterday, Pluvio. That was awesome. And Belord, I can confirm I've been making a lot of builds past weeks for our teaching groups. I will ask them what they want to play and make a build for them. Fun. I don't necessarily go that far. You were even there when we made one? Yeah. And what about your Arc Crow Nightblade build with hugging blast bones? Lily Dried, when I look for builds, I look at how old the video is. Yeah. I think most people do, but every now and again I get a heartbreaking comment from like a really enthusiastic person on a video of mine from like 2 years ago. Saying, oh, would this still work if I change this? Clearly it's still getting clicks. You know, for every comment there are probably 100 views. At least. So yeah, that's a little bit sad when you get this really like hopeful person. Oh, I just found your build, this is great. And I'm like, please don't use that. It's really old. Yeah, but if I'd be, have a great day, gotta go to work, take it easy. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, the blast bones love me. Rigger. That's why I figured the crow out by myself, yeah. Alright, and on YouTube, who's saying what? Paul Matthews, I find it really hard to play things like a tank because the effects in this game are way over the top. I can't bloody see anything. Alright, fair enough. Why on earth don't they have settings to turn off effects? There are a couple of things that you can do. One is in video, right here. Show additional ally effects. I prefer having that on. But you can turn that off. That will kill a lot of things like this. You won't see your allies' blockades and things like that. Endless hails. You won't see all of that stuff. Or you'll see reduced versions of them. I like to see if somebody drops a languid eye and I'm tanking, I want to know where it is. The other thing you can do is in camera and make sure that Maya did a whole video about this, by the way. Your field of view is maxed out, your third-person field of view. Some people even raise the vertical offset as well, so you're really looking down on your character like this. I find that a little bit awkward with Arcanist, because then you need to make sure you're targeting correctly with your beams. So that's a judgment call. But I do tweak this every now and again. Like the first time I did the Fang Lair hard modes, years and years ago, to give myself better visibility of the ghosts, I cranked this all the way up. I've seen people do it a lot in VAS as well, just to give you a broader overview of the battlefield and zoom out a bit from all those effects. They're much more overwhelming if you're up close, right? And then you can't see shit. If you're zoomed way the hell out of there. And finally, when you're tanking, if you're chaining stuff, remember to jump so that you can target things. Like chaining things in. But yeah. Sadly, Paul Matthews, there's no, like, magical fix for that. I can only tell you that it's not a problem for most tanks. But it is a common complaint, yeah. And Big Country saying, Vet Maelstrom Arena, clear is the bar is set for folks to see if they don't know they're ready for vet content. Yeah, we used to do that as well. The problem is, it's so wildly different. And you can clear it, especially nowadays when it's so easy. You can clear Maelstrom Arena with an extremely tanky build, or someone might have an Oaken Soul set up, which is fine by me. You know, whatever you run in solo play is your business. But as soon as you're with a group, if you are not running something which is consistent with that group's expectations, not saying their expectations are necessarily correct, but you know, if the group expects you to do something and you're not doing it, there is going to be a problem. So that's why Maelstrom isn't necessarily ideal. But yeah, it's an indicator of people having learned the basics, right? You're definitely in the game for the long term if you've cleared VMA.
We must defend the camps.
QC, how have I never thought of jumping to chain? Are you any good at Tales of Tribute? Literally never played it. Never tried it. I resented its very existence at first, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm over that now. I'm much better now. So no, Asdar, I've never tried it. So I'm terrible, I'm sure. Terrible at Tribute. And Alataria, when tanking, it's never an issue. It is never an issue to not chain things in for me. It's an issue for the DDs. True. Fair point. But yeah, tanks jump an awful lot. I think it only occurred to me, Kusi, because I saw the tanks I was playing with doing it. Yoink. You know? Yoink. Yoink. Like that. Alright, let's grab a couple of dailies here. And get going. But yeah, is there anyone who's not, anyone who's holding themselves back from anything? There's a lot of talk of gatekeeping in this game. In my experience, that is a figment of our imagination. It's very, very rare that an actual player will actually gatekeep another player from anything else. Having requirements to join a particular prog, that is not gatekeeping in my opinion. That is simply wanting to have a group that works and is up to the task. And we've all been in groups that can't do what they set out to do, and it sucks. And you try to fix it, and if there are players who simply aren't able to keep up, what do? Do you politely ask that person to change it up and give them every opportunity to fix whatever shortcomings they're experiencing? Or do you just take all the 12 people out of that content and move them to something a little bit more easy? Just for the sake of one player? Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Sadly. But there are at least groups who will bend over backwards to help everyone keep up. And where the raid leads will talk to you. And the other people in the group will talk to you and share info. They will share their logs, their setups, everything for you to copy if you need. To be honest, just started tanking. We'll definitely try that now. Yeah, if it's a struggle. I'm currently tanking. In fact, I was supposed to be doing that tonight, but because we got people down, we're doing VHOF instead. Once again, call for people who want to do a veteran Halls of Fabrication tonight. Probably 2 or 3 clears if you are experienced in there. As a DD, I think we just need 2. So one of our regular prog groups is going there to get gear for one of the tanks. And yeah, we've just got a couple of spots available. So long as you have got a lot of experience clearing the plain vet, don't necessarily need to know the hard mode, then yeah, join the Discord and sign up. 7 PM UK time, so 8 PM for most of Europe. Requirement: do at least more damage than the tanks. Yeah. Archmage Dara and anti-heavy attack 1 bar is actually gatekeeping if it's for content that doesn't require a top performance build. Yeah, see, this is... I disagree, but only sort of technically. I think whoever's running the group, they set whatever requirements they want. If somebody wants to be in that group but doesn't meet the requirements, what's to stop them making their own group with looser requirements? There is a group finder. There is a door to the trial right there in the world. Like, it isn't gatekeeping. It's the raid lead wanting to clear the trial in a certain way, in a certain amount of time, not wanting to waste their time or the other 11 people who are in the group. Not wanting to waste their time. So, yes, you definitely got a point, and this is a point which is often raised. It's like, hang on. We're doing Hellrust Citadel hard mode. Why the hell do I need 100k? What? Like, if everyone brought 60k, we'd probably still be able to clear. And that's correct, but that's not what the raid lead wants to do. It's not what anyone in the group wants to do. I think it's important that all 12 people are on the same page. And I have repeatedly... we don't get it much anymore, but when Oaken Soul was more... before it was nerfed into the condition it is now, when it was still a little bit better, made a little bit more sense. I mean, it never really made sense to bring it to trials. It just didn't. And it never was going to. If you look at the way that it works, it gives you a bunch of buffs that are kind of tricky to get to self-source, so it makes some sense. If you are bringing it to a trial where all those buffs are already present, it makes a lot less sense all of a sudden, and it is just you're just gimping your damage for no reward. But yeah, I've had people with Oaken Soul builds all the freaking time, especially in VAS. I've lost count of how many teaching trials or practice runs I've done in there, and I've very rarely asked people to ditch the Oaken Soul and bring something else. In fact, I don't think I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever actually said it. Because I think the only time we got people bringing Oaken Soul was for runs where, well, it doesn't matter. It's fine. We'll be fine. But yeah, arbitrary requirements when the goal should just be having fun, then I agree with you. But if it is a requirement which reflects the desire of the raid lead and the group to do the content a certain way, like if you want to skip this or that mechanic because the fight time becomes drastically shorter, much easier, much smoother. If you're doing a loot run of an easy trial, you want to do 5 clears in 2 hours. I missed this one. You know, these are all things that are... That's the raid lead's call. But yeah, I see what you're saying. That's a pretty low bar, Lily Dryad. Yeah, I agree, Belorde. Alatariel, need VHOB training first with VDSR, still one of the 2 I don't have. Only tank the first bosses. So... I mean, Alatariel, how good are you as a DPS? You don't need to know everything backwards. But yeah, I'm just we just need to fill it. So if we get desperate, if it's like 10 minutes to go and we still have a spot, I'm sure we will take someone who's not super experienced. But and Arthur Valencia was saying about the VMA as a training thing. Interesting take. Really, I think any arena is valid. That's an interesting point. I certainly think that a Black Rose prison clear is more valid than Maelstrom Arena, because then at least it's group content, right? The problem is a dummy hump, a Maelstrom Arena clear, a Black Rose prison clear. You can easily just turn around and say, well, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't reflect. It's like saying, oh, you must be at least CP 2000. That way, you're setting the bar, you're ruling out a bunch of excellent players who just for some reason are at 1900 and something or below. But they are really good and they will kick ass in your group. And you've got a bunch of players who've had the game for years, so their CP is high, but they've done very little in terms of trials. So yeah, a dummy hump, a CP level, even often a clear of the trial in question. These are just extremely imperfect measurements of someone's preparedness. It's just we have to set a requirement somewhere. You know, if we're trying to make good use of our time and the time of our group mates who signed up. And yeah, those are the least bad options. Usually is like a log or a dummy hump or whatever. But yeah, it's completely correct to say these are kind of bullshit ways to measure readiness for a particular thing. I totally agree, but I'll continue to use them because I have no other option. It's like criticizing democracy and say it's really bad at this, and this. You're completely right. Democracy can be awful, but it's kind of the least worst option. You know what I mean? Nice ult.
Don't leave any behind.
Yeah, interesting, Azdara. Like making a group find listing for VAA, saying no heavy attack 1 bar. I think again, they're. I still don't think that's gatekeeping. If it's their group and they've had terrible experiences with people who've just started the game and they bought into a video guide which says basically farm this mythic, you know, put one button on your mouse and you can play this game. And I think we've all had The jump on that Titan. Ah, look at all the deaths. That's hilarious. Yeah, we've all had those experiences with whether they're Oaken Soul users or just someone else, someone who isn't prepared but has a sense of entitlement. I think when you see a group finder listing with a requirement like that, that is what they're trying to avoid. And rightly or wrongly, they're associating 1-bar / heavy attack builds with tourists or whatever, and people who are who represent that entitled group that they don't want to have in their group. I'm not going to tell you whether that's all right or wrong. I suspect a lot of the time it's wrong. But it's, if you're organizing the raid or if I'm organizing a raid, it's our prerogative to set those standards. I think that's okay. It's not gatekeeping. The trial is right there. Anyone who wants to can make their own group. But there, yeah, the Oaken Soul thing is interesting because there's a lot of emotions run very high on this particular issue, and that's why I think the ZOS have nerfed the set so much and have been content for it to be like it's straight up bad now. You could make a real case that Oaken Soul should be buffed because there are very few situations where it's worth using, and the reason I suspect the ZOS probably won't buff it is because they just want it to go away. It's become such a charged, toxic issue for so many players on both sides. I think they just want it to go away and for that conversation to be over. But you're right, that prejudice against heavy attack or 1-bar setups is, on the face of it, that's kind of dumb. It's more nuanced than that. Anyway, thank you very much, Jay Sherami, for the follow. Welcome on in. Avalora saying, not gatekeeping because the group decides what they want. Some people cannot even do that. Lily tried? Yeah, well, maybe so. Lord, if you want to play heavy attack 1-bar, start your own group. No one is stopping you from playing the content. I would agree. That sort of squashes the gatekeeping argument. But that's just kind of semantics. Should people be more open-minded and a bit more flexible? Yes. Can you realistically expect that in the group finder? No. I think if you're in a guild, especially a guild like mine, which says it wants to help people, if somebody shows up with a heavy attack or a 1-bar build, it's no good just to shut them out. We're not gatekeeping, but it's just not very good guild leadership. You know, you want to talk to them. You want to explain. All right, so here's why your setup is great for solo content. Or, in fact, it's rubbish for solo content, but it doesn't matter since you're the only one who's there. But here's why it is not great to bring this into a trial group. And when people really, really don't get it, often when it clicks for them is when I say something like, imagine you join a trial group and the tank hasn't got a taunt, or the tank has very low resistances. That is rude. They are wasting your time by not bringing a build which is appropriate for what you're trying to do. They're not doing their job. It is not quite the same, but it is similar when DDs bring setups which aren't up to scratch. They are not up to the task. And they expect the tanks and the healers to do all the usual things, but are they going to do their job? No. They're just going to sort of coast and get the clear. I think it's okay for the other 11 people in the group to stand up and say, no thank you, go and make your own group of 11 other people who play that way and see how far you get. But yeah, we're getting into like quite specific anecdotal examples, you know? Anyway. Alatariel, most training runs don't care about your DPS, they just want to teach mechs and are not aiming for fast clears. I always want to clear in a teaching run, but it's not, you're right, it's not the priority. The learning is the goal. Absolutely. As long as people are learning stuff, every wipe is valuable. Completely agree, yeah. Lily Dryad, if I can do 90k with a 1-bar heavy attack. Yeah, I see. 120k on a trial dummy. Happy Tuesday, Khan and gang. Oregon Cake, welcome on in. Happy Tuesday to you. And Pluvio saying, this also comes from the typical heavy attack user having an absolutely horrendous build. Yeah, exactly. It's it's by association. Ostracization by association. I've met so many heavy attack. I'm not saying that. I'm voicing this imaginary character saying, "Oh, I've met too many one-bar heavy attack players who are wasting my time. So you're a one-bar heavy attack build. I'm not going to let you in my group." That is logically not quite sound, but you can see it as a time-saving tactic why people will just jump to those conclusions and use that shortcut cutoff point. Galantax, yo, how's it going? And Lou, a 10-stream streak, thank you so much. Pluvio saying, yeah, a horrendous build doing abysmal damage. So many heavy attack players are just stuck on old builds and refuse to change it for whatever silly reason, and that shows a certain unwillingness to learn the game on a meaningful level. Yeah, it can be indicative. Yeah, there's a correlation to what we're saying. Or it's people just slapping on a build that's already bad and thinking it's good enough, not putting anything into it themselves. Yeah, see, I like to think that we, in our guild, and I think most guilds who genuinely want to teach people stuff and help, they will do this as well. They will be willing to spend quite a lot of their own personal time just exchanging DMs or going into voice with someone who's pissed off and who doesn't understand why they can't join this or that run, and explain and help them understand and maybe help them change the build. Then I think it's all okay. And if the person then refuses to do any of the above and just hides behind the label of, well, gatekeeping or gatekeeping, then tough. Then they're not going to get very far. But most people don't do that, in my experience. You get the occasional person who either is just incredibly stubborn, or I suspect is probably just trolling. You know, rage baiting in the first place. You do get a lot of that. We had a guy once in. There was something like 50 people trying to reason with this person, and they were just adamant that DPS requirements are bad, and anyone who sets a DPS requirement is evil. And I don't think they believed a word of what they were saying, because that is an incredibly stupid hill to die on. I think they were just trying to fuck with us. And yeah, they wasted a huge amount of my time because I approached them in good faith, but I just got nothing but abuse. And they just refused to listen to anything. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, Pluvio, appreciate the message there. Hitting a dummy pass requirement at least shows some willingness to learn. Yeah, some. But yeah, like I said, none of these ways that we use to gauge ourselves and each other for group content, none of them are great. The best way is to group up with someone, talk to them in chat. Honestly, if someone's a nice person, if they have like social skills and communication skills and whatever else, then to hell with everything else. It's very unlikely they won't be able to adapt. You know, we prefer good people. I think it says that on page 1 of our Discord. We prefer good people to good players, although the ideal ninja puller is both. But yeah, I'd much rather have someone who is crap or who has a rubbish build but is open-minded and nice to hang out with. Then we can conquer anything together. But if someone's awesome at the game but they're entitled and a bit of a dick, and refuses to listen or can't be civil to other people in my guild, forget it. I don't care how good you are. We're not going to have fun together, and fun is number one. So yeah, if we keep these first principles in mind, I think a lot of these misunderstandings can just be avoided or quashed. Thank you for following, Teddy Krumel. How's it going? Good morning, Lou. And Archmage started saying, not that anyone's forced to invite everyone, just that once you use a public tool, it stops being purely about my group, my rules. Oh, okay. I actually think the opposite. I think if you're setting up the group, you're entitled. And if your requirements are silly, don't expect it to fill very fast. But yeah, it's okay for us to have different takes on that. It stops being purely about my group, my rules, says Asdara. If you want full control, that's what private groups and guild runs are for. Group Finder is designed as a shared community space, and posting exclusions there affects everyone's experience. If we start normalizing public posts that say no one bar or no heavy attacks, it's the same social dynamic as any other exclusion based on identity or playstyle. I will say this, the one-bar community have brought this upon themselves. And I hate to lump everyone together like that. There is nothing wrong with a one-bar setup or a one-bar mythic. There is nothing wrong with a heavy attack rotation. I personally don't dig it. I'm like, that is like eating unseasoned food. And the argument that one bar or heavy attack are better for disabled players is nonsense. We polled, it was only like 16, I think maybe 12 or 16 players. It wasn't a lot, so this is a bit anecdotal. But we polled all the players we could find who have mobility issues with their hands or whatever, due to injury or like arthritis or whatever. And none of them, I think maybe one, I think it was literally one who actually said, yeah, Oaken Soul or heavy attack is helpful. All the others are like, no, pressing one button and holding it down all the time, this is much worse. One bar, maybe, but the heavy attack thing, no, it's not. It's a different kind of accessibility. It's like training wheels. And it's the unwillingness to take those training wheels off sometimes and to get very, very angry with anyone who suggests that maybe there's a better way. Hey, Maya! Hey, everyone, that's Maya in chat. How you doing? Ah. Do you have a guild on NA, Frosty Rocky? Yes, we do. We do, and we need people. But yeah, Archmage, you and I definitely agree up to a point. I would just quibble with the labeling of it as gatekeeping. I don't think that's quite right, but like I said, it's okay to have different opinions on these things. And yeah, it tells a chunk of the community that their way of playing, even if it's perfectly viable for the content, isn't welcome. That's exactly how gatekeeping starts. Yeah, and I would just remind you again that what Pluvio said and what I was saying, that is absolutely correct and inarguable, in my opinion, that it is a lot of heavy attack, Oaken Soul type things they are condemned by association. You know, as being associated with the bad behavior of other players. That's, if you actually look at people and they're sort of commiserating with their experience of one bar players or Oaken Soul players particularly, there's a real cult of Oaken Soul, or there used to be. I think it's thankfully dying off because people are realizing that it's been a bad mythic for quite a long time. You can still go heavy attack, you can still go one bar, but don't use that mythic. And the fact that people are refusing to ditch it just goes to show it's got nothing to do with accessibility. It never did. It's got nothing to do with that particular playstyle. It never did. It's got something to do with confirmation bias and a desire to stick with this thing. This is the thing that I've invested my my sort of damage and build into, and I refuse to change it because that would involve admitting to myself I was duped or I missed something, or you know, and we hate to admit these things. The admission of being wrong is something that is very painful for the human mind for whatever reason. I think that is part of it. It's a sort of a weird confirmation bias dynamic that creeps into it. But yeah. I hear what you're saying. And thank you for typing that out. And thanks, Maya, for the pyramid there. Awesome. And Atari, it would be nice if people who exclude others could tell why. Yeah, this is why I'm saying I don't think we can police the group finder and say, no, if you post anything in the group finder, you have to be open to everyone. Like, I want to start doing some teaching runs which are just open. And I will set the requirements as low as I can, but I absolutely am going to figure out a way to set requirements. It's tough. I'm not sure how to do it, but we'll figure it out. Gleaming resin. Hey, Keeper of Souls, thank you very much for the follow. Pluvio was saying, I would gladly help out another player that's maybe a bit more casual, aren't as clued in. Yeah, I mean, we do this all the time. I've seen you do it, Pluvio. I think maybe that's the issue, one of the issues I have with the gatekeeping label, is that it is often used to imply that the PvPers or PvEers who are in the late game or the end game or whatever you want to call it they jealously guard that privilege and that access, and that is simply not true. Most endgamers spend a lot of their time in-game helping others. They do it constantly. Go to Wild Heart, go to Ninja Pull's Discord servers, and you see this, like, every day. Lena Elvira, thank you for that. Long day, Maya, I know. I know. Yikes. Alright, let's catch up. Bluvia was saying, yeah, gladly help out another player if they showed some sort of willingness to learn. Yeah, and occasionally you do run into that stubbornness of like, well, I once listened with, you know, with like growing dread while my buddy Praetorian, who's a great PvP player, very knowledgeable, very helpful, very keen to get more people into PvP who are like me, who spend most of the time in PvE, and a lot of them get the wrong idea about what PvP is about and why it's great or whatever. And yeah, this guy was really, he had all these questions about why can't I do this with my build? And Praetorian was like, here's the mistake you're making. And the guy kept responding with, yeah, but I don't want to change that. Oh, okay, well, I suppose you could go with this kind of build instead. Nah, I don't want to do it that way. And I kid you not, they were like, he wasted like an hour of my friend's time. Just because my mate really genuinely wanted to help. And in the end, he just refused every piece of excellent advice he was given. It was heartbreaking. But yeah, that's fairly rare and quite extreme. But yeah, it does happen. But yeah, Pluvio. Yeah, if they showed some willingness to learn beyond what they know, I want to see more people doing the harder content. Exactly. Vezok! Hey, I'm currently out and about, so I'm not sure I can chat, but hey, nerds. Hey, man. And, yeah, Pluvio, to be fair, those groups posting stuff like no heavy attack or no Console, although I think no Console is fair, it's such a bait mythic. Those groups are just barely mid-game. They don't actually know that much, but they think they do. So they're often just as bad. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. The most gatekeepy part of the community is probably the mid-game. Because they often labor under the illusion, the misapprehension that there is a quote-unquote meta. And that meta is one setup that you use everywhere. And it's like, the game has literally never worked like that. And it works less and less like that with every passing year. I know the meta is a little bit narrow and a bit stale at the moment, but it's still utterly, utterly wrong. And it's one of the #1 questions I get on YouTube and here. People come in and say, hey, what's meta DPS these days? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that. There are like 12 setups or more that I could give you, which are all meta, depending on the circumstance. And yeah, there's some overlap and yada yada yada, but it's a difficult conversation to have. And a lot of these mid-tier groups will be laboring under that misapprehension, right? That there is one way to do things, and that's how the end gamers do it. That's what we need, and it's wrong-headed, and that is unfortunate. That's a good point as well, Pluvio. Yeah. Finally done with Ritz, Lily. Awesome. And Lily, every once in a while, I will do 2 bars, but it's just not working for me. Oh, really? Well, we kind of got sidetracked with the whole gatekeeping and 1 bar thing. It is an interesting conversation, and I'm very happy to have it. Happy to hear anyone's opinion on this, anyone's experience. I'm not here to tell anyone that they're wrong, although I will try politely to explain if my opinion differs. We'll try to explain why that is. But yeah, the more we talk about it, hopefully the smarter we get, right? But don't let me do all the talking, otherwise no one's going to get any smarter. We're all going to become dumber. And Lily tried saying, yeah, it's a concentration problem for me. 2 bars are not working, but I still try to do good damage while only having 1. I think we've talked about this a lot. One of the issues with the 2-bar system is that the default keybinds on on controller or keyboard, the default keybinds for bar swap are terrible. And once again, so many people have fixed the 1 bar issue, or their issue with 2 bars, by just remapping bar swap. And eventually it gets to the point where you cast a thing, you light attack, ability, bar swap. Like this. You do all 3 things in one go, and if you can just put the the keybind in a place where that's very easy to do. For me, for instance, it's on my mouse wheel. If I click my mouse wheel to the left, I bar swap. And that makes it extremely easy for me to do a light attack, cast, bar swap. And it's 3 buttons in one movement, but it feels like I'm doing one thing. It's a trick. Right? It's like a little trick I play on my own brain. And that means that I can completely understand if I start separating those 3 out again, like if I move bar swap to, I don't know, F12, and suddenly I have to do a light attack, press 1 for blockade, and then F12 to bar swap back again. That's a horrible, horrible experience, and I'm much more likely to lose hope in 2-bar setups and go with a 1-bar. So I'm not saying that is going to fix it for everyone, but in my experience, it fixes it for about 90% of people. And suddenly they're like, "Ah, this is cool. I can totally do this. It's not as hard as I thought, or it's not as hard as the game is trying to make it," which is a huge own goal, I think, by Zos. So they can't really change it now. But yeah, I endlessly recommend people rebind that bar swap button. It can help a lot. Didn't want Khan to feel left out, Lena. Thank you, appreciate it. And Maya was saying, I never tried 1-bar, and I'm kind of glad. If it was a thing when I started, I probably would have tried it. Yeah, I would have found it difficult to switch up later. That's another thing we've heard a lot, isn't it? And Vamono, I think DPS requirement is for people who score push and go for records. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the requirement. But yeah, the more ambitious the group, absolutely, the tighter and tighter the requirements. Not only do they get tighter, but they have to. They must. And that's a point I made in a video which I should probably update. DPS and ESO explained from a couple of years ago. Where I said, you do not need to follow the meta. This is a myth. You absolutely do. Like, even if you could find out what the meta is. It's like the joke about the clitoris in South Park. It's some mythical thing. I found it! You guys remember that? And it's just a giant thing in the woods. I found the clitoris! Sometimes I think of the meta like that. It's this imaginary holy grail, which doesn't really exist, or means very different things to different people. But even if you do track it down somehow, you don't need to follow that shit. Just make sure that you're doing what you need to do, and what your group needs you to do, and yeah, people should be fine. You can just have a conversation. We don't need to have all these rules and restrictions all the time. But yeah, it is a group activity. Ambition and capability needs to be aligned. It doesn't feel good to get carried, and it does not feel good to be carrying people. It just doesn't. Everyone loses, so I think it's okay that people try to make groups, they try to sculpt the group to be a little bit more consistent across the board in terms of preparedness, ambition. That's important. It's just as important as having a group where everyone's available at 7 PM on a Thursday. You know? Not only do we all have to be in the same place at the same time in game, we also have to have the same kind of goals. Right? Shared goals, shared attitudes, and that's what requirements are trying to do most of the time if they're being done right. But as Pulivio said, a lot of the time it's people misapplying that logic. Right, let's go and get some souls now. And catch up with the rest of chat. Zden, yeah, something that's held me back for far too long in trials and vet dungeons is that I play far too much pug runs, and it's most of the time absolute bollocks. Yeah, right? You can have a lot of fun, and then the time is not wasted. But if often you will take the headset off after a couple of hours of not clearing, or not, getting past one boss and think, I didn't really learn anything from that, I didn't really have any fun, I certainly didn't get any gear. That was kind of a bust. And you are so much less likely to get that if the group is organized by a guild, if there are requirements, if there are shared goals, and if there's clarity on why did I go the long way around? Yeah, so I see what you mean. But pugs can also be really fun. And the fact that they're spontaneous is part of the fun, right? And Keeper of Souls, probably going to start over on Thursday when I get off. Been a few years since I've played. Any tips for a returning player other than what you've already been talking about? Stay away from bait, is what we've been talking about. And experiment, and go at your own pace, man. It is, don't forget to have fun. I think everyone in this game from end gamers to just questers, we all have the same goal, which is fun. There are other things that might go alongside it, but at the end of the day, that is the thing we should never forget to do, is to just enjoy ourselves, you know? What other tips for a returning player? Let's see what people have had to say. Just play, get to know the new stuff, and enjoy. Read your tooltips, that's a good one. I mean, you may not need to. You know, but, you know, just regularly... It sounds like the most boring-ass advice ever. But, you know, just remind yourself what your abilities are doing. You know, inspired scholarship. Etch a series of runes onto your weapon that pulse with power once every 3 seconds. Each pulse enhances your class abilities, and striking an enemy with one deals an additional blah 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 magic damage and generates crux if you have none. So every 3 seconds, magic damage generates crux. Honestly, if you'd asked me how often Inspired Scholarship procs, I'm not sure I would have told you 3 seconds. Just now, before I read it. So it's good. Even for someone like me who's read these tooltips a million freaking times, there's so much complexity. And then while still on either bar, you get Major Brutality and Sorcery. That one's easy to remember. So yeah, read your tooltips now and then. Not constantly. It's not an exam. It's a video game. But, you know, do a little bit of revision now and then. It will make you a bit more effective. Just trying to make sure this guy can get some of the kills as well. Yeah, Belorda, that's good advice. Just play, get to know the new stuff, and enjoy. Fluvio, this is fine. In connection with Lily's concentration. Just that you're even willing to try 2 bars. Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? Like with food preferences we've been talking about recently as well. When people refuse to try a thing. Oh, I don't like it. I don't want to have it again. No, the human brain takes a long time to actually process whether we like something. It's not only possible to train your brain to like something, that is the only way we ever get to enjoy most food. That's hence the phrase, an acquired taste. You have to go and get it, and then you start enjoying it. Oh, come on, this is taking a long-ass time to get the souls that I need. There we go. Who's on Solstice? Keeper of Souls, yeah, I feel that. My good active groups to talk with. Any good active groups to talk with. Last group died out years ago and I'll get bored with no one to talk to. Well, it depends what you're after. Ninja Pulls might have something for you. But yeah, there are loads of nice groups out there. The ESO community is fucking awesome. And the whole supposed divide between casuals and endgamers is mostly bullshit. It's a thing that we're making up. We're imagining it. It's not really there at the end of the day. So don't be put off by that. Don't feel like you're not good enough to interact with people who are like endgamey or whatever. Even if you're not yet experienced enough to make it into any of their groups, doesn't mean you can't hang. Absolutely the opposite, in fact. You're using an add-on showing both bars below, that's a good point, yep. And Lily Dryad, I use the Void Mantle, but I have a little trouble with sustain, so I have the new mythic can help with that. I like to BS too much. Keep results. No idea what that's like. Fluvio, if you mean Huntsman, don't go for it. Void Mantle is way ahead of anything else for heavy attack. Sustain issues are better solved through checking your skills and skill usage. Bar swaps are a bit slow for me at the moment. I feel like it worked smoother before. It probably did. Try activating a different personality or just deactivating personalities altogether and see if it helps. I haven't personally had many issues with bar swapping, but yeah, everything just feels a little bit sticky, you know, and slightly delayed. Like I feel like when I activate my light attack, I feel like it was faster before. Doesn't matter. I'm sure the damage is exactly the same. The weaving is exactly the same, but the look of it feels off. And yeah, there are issues with things like animations just skipping in time rather than smoothly transitioning from one state to the next. It's like you just skip between keyframes or something. There's a lot of that which doesn't feel or look right. So I'm sure it's not your imagination, Alatariel. Bus swapping is faster since update 48, really? I haven't noticed any difference, but it depends on what you're casting, right? Lily Dried already thought so, but still want to try it out. Yeah, feel free. And Pluvia, can feel good to do a carry if you get paid for it? Sure, yeah. A meta in PvP, man, I've tried so many setups from people. It all ended up with me just setting up something I could actually understand. Yeah, in PvP you've got to make sure that A, the person recommending the build is explaining how they use it. I mean, you can sort of break it down and say, right, they're running this. How is that going to work? These sets, how are they going to be interacting with one another? You can sort of figure it out, but it's helpful when the guide, A, has a lot of kills, like footage of them getting kills, because then you know it's legit, it's something that they're using. But you got to make sure that you can replicate or at least approximate their playstyle. And that is different. A lot of people, I'm very dodge rolly in PvP. I tend to forget to block. And I've fucked myself over by using a build which relies on like a Templar build that I used to run from a friend, and it was very, very strong defensively, but I needed to be blocking and staying still. And then I could just out-heal most stuff. Whereas I end up burning my stamina by dodging around. Yeah, I avoid the damage, but then I'm not playing the build the way it's designed to work. And it became a lot less effective, and I didn't have as much fun. So yeah, PvP is tough in that regard. You've got to make sure that you fully get what the build is going for, and then that you can actually do it, and that you don't have a muscle memory which goes against that. like the example I just mentioned. But yeah, so then you ended up just setting something up I could actually understand and play. I'm way too bad of a PvP player to handle some of the more advanced setups. I mean, how many reps do you have in PvP? That's my issue. My muscle memory in PvP is just lags a little bit behind. So if I meet a player with an equally good setup, or maybe even a worse setup than mine, you know, if I've got one from, if I've set up one that's really good, or if I've got one from a buddy, and they might still kick my ass because they'll just outplay me. You know, they'll use line of sight better than I do because I don't tend to do that. You know, all the reaction times will be slightly faster, muscle memory a little bit better, this kind of stuff, you know? But Lord, I got 121 million gold. Yeah, don't need to do carries for gold, that's true. Damn, and I'm down to my last mill. Maya, join an awesome guild, exactly. I'm down below 50 million, I think, at the moment. Yeah, about 21 million, because I just spent like 80 million a few weeks ago. So yeah, I need to bring that back up, but I don't do carries. I think there are potential issues with carries. This is very debatable though, so we're not going to get into that. I don't like the idea that new players who have fallen victim to this idea, which is spread by some of the community and by some of the creators out there, and it's a big reason for the you know, Oaken Soul style builds as well, this mistaken idea that the game is too difficult for them. And a lot of people pay for carries because they genuinely believe that lie. Whereas they could just join a friendly guild, get some reps, learn some tricks, and then before you know it, they're cruising through that content. They don't need anyone's help. And they've got all the gear, they've got all the achievements for themselves. Just as Gina intended. And yeah, it makes me a little bit sad to see people foregoing that experience just because someone signposted carry runs to them early on. Xenia, fuck off, I have like 600k. Xenia, harder to learn from a pug run as well. I mean, usually when I mess up, people just tell me, what a piece of shit player. Really? Oh no. Instead, you're telling me from the beginning what to look out for, etc. On the other hand, I learned to ask in the beginning and say that I will leave if you want me to, then things got better. Yeah, I used to do that. If I found myself in a pledge, I think hard mode Valkyrie Hold was the one time when I was kicked from a group, and it was like totally fair enough. Because they triggered the hard mode, and I typed in chat, I'm not sure my DPS is high enough for this. And if the other DDs had just had better damage, we would have been fine. But this was a long time ago. This is probably early 2019. Valkyrie Hold wasn't even that old back then. And it was a pretty tough hard mode to get before all the pillars went out. And yeah, I did end up getting kicked from the group. I think that's the one time I can remember that happened in a pug. And I had no problem with it. I just made sure that I had as much damage as I could bring. Yeah, then things got better. Zane, that's why I try to help as many people as I can that I know, and what I've learned from this channel makes a huge difference. Cool, man, thank you. Keeper of Souls, I know me too well. I get locked in and go till I beat whatever goal I set. Fair enough. Then there are days I'll set on crafting, and the next day I'll be back on story, leveling. Gonna do Necro though, looks cool as fuck. Enjoy. Enjoy. And Coribas, the main reason of gatekeeping heavy attack is Oaken Soul 1-bar fans. They're often dead weight. Yep. Too often. When people have had that experience, they don't want to repeat it. Yeah, they can be dead weight in groups, ignoring requirements, ignoring mechanics, ignoring the fact that the ring is useless in any group with any support. Yeah, that's why there is such prejudice against it. It isn't, it's not a coincidence. Or it's not like, you know, the stereotype does exist for a reason. Even if it can be deployed unfairly against someone who's a nice person, a decent player, they just happen to have a heavy or a 1-bar build, or whatever. All of my weapon swaps are so smooth and fast. I really don't feel much difference. Yeah. Pluvio, I kind of want to get into carriers because I need some way to get gold right now. The 10th god in ESO, Gina. With small PP. Yeah. Hey, Subtlety, how's it going? Zenia, that's what I've actually told my new friend in the game. Nothing is too hard. Good. It really isn't. It's amazing how easy the game actually is. People are blown away by what they can do, and they were just like, well, I'll never be able to do that. Actually, give me 2 weeks, and I'll get you there. Some people learn even faster than that. I remember one guy who used to main a Magblade. He was a very good player. He was like a fairly serious gamer, but he had been playing ESO for a couple of years, and he decided it was time to push his DPS. So this is a couple of years ago, and he was on 65k on his Magblade. Not great. Not great. Even then, 65k on a Magblade, yeesh. Literally in the space of 2 afternoons, I think we spent an evening. He posted in our Discord a CMX report. I responded. He posted another one a couple of hours later, then another one, and then the following day he was at 115 or something like that. And I didn't show him anything. It was just a few typed messages. And because he was sharing his CMX, I could see exactly where the damage was getting lost. And he didn't become a much better player. He was exactly the same skill level that he was the day before. He just had the info. That is what's missing so much of the time. Yeah, Zenio, just try and learn that you're better at the game than you think. And yeah, he's having a blast at the moment. I hope that long may it continue, man. That's awesome. It's a nice feeling when you get someone better. Yeah, helping people is good. And suddenly, dang, it's too early for lifing. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, and Keiko, get kicked out of an NCR +2, scarred me for life. Yeah, it's not nice. Even though in many ways I volunteered myself for kickage, it made me, it definitely killed my mood a little bit. I was like, fuck, I really wanted that hard mode. That would have been nice. I got it again, like a couple of weeks later, I think. And that was my first hard mode in there. But yeah, very shortly after that, I pretty much stopped pugging because we started doing guild stuff, and then I never looked back. It's night and day, the difference. If you can get with a guild of nice people that are, you know, ready to help, I cannot recommend it highly enough. You would not believe how much of an improvement it is over pug runs. Like I said, Pugs can be fun for that spontaneity, but guild runs are generally more fun in every way because there's a more consistent attendance as well. People know each other. So you can pick up where you left off. There are in-jokes, there are running gags. There's just more of a sense of camaraderie. There's voice chat. And the results are inarguable. You will progress together. You will learn new shit. You'll get better tips from people in whose interest it is to provide you, to share their intel and insight. If there's someone in your group who's tanked this particular thing and they see where you're going wrong. Yeah, it's huge. Huge. Let's see if that Maldrith is up. Belorda. Crafting with 20 characters in Trading Guild will even be making more gold after doing all my master writs. Will sell at tunable crafting stations. Nice. Oregon Cake, every now and then I'll join a pug only because it makes me thankful for my guild, just for the chaos. And Jack Dill. Hey, only decided to try and understand PvP and making my character stronger. Any tips? Okay, you wanna aim for some basic things like probably 30k HP is a reasonable amount. Oh, no one's here? This guy's kind of a pain to solo. And I want to catch up with chat before I do that. Yeah, so any PvP tips, guys? Just basic stuff that are kind of universal. I tend to favor... It's not the only way to do it. It's not necessarily the best way, but I tend to favor a setup where you have a set on your front bar that is offensive, and then you slot your offensive shit on there. And on your back bar, you can have things like the defending trait, an ice staff, sword and board, maybe, or, you know... And put some heals and shields and stuff back there, so that when you switch from front to back, you are switching modes. You're going into defensive mode. You know, you're turtling a little bit. That is really, really nice to have. Just remember to do it. Yeah, what are we talking? We want like 20 to 25k resist is fairly typical. And 30k health, or close to it. These are fairly typical values. You can still get decent damage. If you start building like 40k health, because you have, I don't know, if you're using Polar Wind or whatever, you know, a health-based heal for survivability, then you can benefit from that higher health pool. But be careful about going too all in on the damage. You just won't be able to do anything when you get attacked by 3 people. You can't kill any of them, and they'll eventually just wear you down. And unless you want to make one of those trolley builds that's just unkillable and just walking around going, yeah, fuck you. And come back to YouTube tones. I've severe RSI on my elbow and wrist. I've never made a 1-bar or an Oaken Soul build. Started with 2 builds, never looked back. Yeah, I'm not saying that 1-bar or Oaken Soul wouldn't help anyone. Clearly it has helped some people. Clearly. The 1-bar playstyle has been around since the beginning. Oaken Soul did not invent it, and it's not going to go now that Oaken Soul is kind of weak. But yeah, glad to hear you backing me up on that point. That it's often made out to be like the be-all end-all for people with a disability, and it allows them to play the game. And I've even had like incredibly abusive, not directed at me, but when the debate pops off on Reddit or the forums or whatever, or in a Discord that I'm part of, you see people throwing this shit around. It's a little bit like if you say the wrong thing in front of a Republican in America, they'll say you're anti-American, just arbitrarily, because they disagree with your opinion, or you're anti-American. And you get Oaken Soul defenders saying this, that you're anti-disabled people, or you're anti-accessibility. It's such rubbish. It's a total straw man. Devil's Master, you done with the dailies? Thinking of logging in? Yeah, go for it. I can do some more. You can come and help me with this. Anyone else want to come and do the world boss? It's not that difficult. All you got to do is bring some major resolve. Try to focus the ads. Don't just hump the boss. And as soon as you see a blob, he'll spawn these little voroplasm, white voroplasm blobs, and then he'll spawn a wall, which goes across the arena. You need to kill the blob. And Belorda, I know why this mechanic didn't make sense to me before. The wall wasn't appearing. Before, you know, when when he was in here in phase 1 when he shouldn't be. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, Jack Dill. Where can Jack Dill go for builds? You can look at Malcolm, you can look at Bislobo, you can look at Kamul, Okui. Not just their YouTube channels, but their Twitch streams as well. And you can talk to them, like one-on-one. And obviously, if they're in the middle of a big fight, they're not going to drop everything and talk to you. But yeah, generally these guys will help you. They're happy to do it. Let me just empty my inbox. Is that Devil's Master? Hello? Wow, that's really slow. There we go. I've just spammed the take all button before it works. Hey, Meta, how's it going? Yeah, vet hard mode solo, forget the solo. Alright, quickly. Lord, my first trial ever was an NCR +3 and the raid lead sent me to the portal without explaining anything. I was the only portal DD who survived every one. Ha! Lily Dried, I noticed the abyssal ink from the Arcanist seems to buff damage from mechanics too. I noticed that in ice cap hard mode with the fire circle that made more damage. Abyssal ink was on the enemy. Interesting. Alright, Devil's Master, let's group up. Is it worth losing a bit of stand magic and a bit of health? Yes, absolutely. A lot of PvP builds will have a lot of points in health, like 40, and then the rest in their primary resource. Alright, let's try this guy. Right, someone else do a bit more damage so I lose aggro. That'd be nice. I don't think he does the wall right away, does he? It's like below 70 or something like that. It takes a while before he'll actually start doing it. Oh, there we go. Blob time. I was lucky. It was right on top of us. No, I didn't even see it that time. It was coming from the wrong side. So yeah, we need to... Oh, seriously? Everyone died? No! Yeah, you gotta keep your eyes peeled. How did this person die? They were in the dome. They're doing the mechanic. Jack Dale, is it worth? Yeah, you were. Sorry, we responded to that one. Imposter Syndrome, 27k resistances. Front bar, 30k HP minimum. Oh, so you go a little bit higher on the resistances, yeah. That sounds about right. Similar to what I said. And you could go with Rallying plus Wretched plus Baylor. Yeah, there we go. That'll work very well. Oakenstall's still good. I like it. There are better ways to play, but soloing about the world, it melts. I mean, that's nothing to do with Oakenstall, though. That's you. Don't misattribute power. You probably would do more damage if you took it off. I hear this argument a lot. And it's an easy logical fallacy to indulge in. Oh, well, I'm cruising, so my setup must be really good. No, you're just a good player. But Lord, if you're playing like a vet DLC dungeon with hard mode, there might be some fights you want to put some points into health. Otherwise... Oh yeah, so we're just talking about PvP there. In PvE, yeah, for a damage dealer, do not put any points in health. It's a waste of time. Again, we got lucky with that blobbo. I'll try not to miss the next one this time. Step into my office. Hey Zim, hello there. Give it up for Zim the Bard, everyone. How you doing? Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Oh, why'd you have to be so far away? That was a really unkind spawn there, wasn't it? So far away. It's cool to have a boss with actual mechanics, though. I dig it. Yeah, so I definitely wasn't seeing this wall in week 1, like when he was up, when he wasn't supposed to be up. Make sure Major Breach is up and let's nuke him. 4. Oh no 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 no! Oh, thank fuck for that. Oh no, because the boss died. Gish, what will happen next? Oh, that's terrible. So that achievement was not popping in week 1. Because I killed him a bunch of times. Despite the wall not appearing. It just wasn't telegraphed at all. And we were dying to stuff. We were like, I'm not sure. Was that for everyone or was that just me? That wasn't seeing it in week 1. Well, thanks, Devil's Master. Awesome. Thanks for the highlighted messages as well, Zim. Appreciate that. And Kusi, in my opinion, if we want to argue accessibility beam builds make more sense than one bar, I completely agree with that. Yeah, because then you don't have to keep anything pressed, do you? Amber Lorda, yeah, Decimus 2 for PvP builds. Yeah, man. Yes. Did Twitch glitch out? It seems like it may have done. Twitch being twitchy, hey Maya. It may have been my imagination. Hiya, Georgie. Well, Saber, appreciate it. Twitch is implementing a lot of new stuff at the moment, so it will bug a lot. Imagine that. Imagine that. El Timtor, hey, if you're looking and listening to the discussion, 1 bar versus 2 bar, Oaken versus not Oaken. Can't say I have an opinion either way, but 1 bar Oaken works for me as a casual and I have fun with it, so all good. Yeah. It wasn't really 1 bar versus 2 bar. I think it was more to do with people saying no Oaken Soul and why that is. Is that justified? Is that okay? And I think the universal agreement is that no, it's not ideal to lock people out arbitrarily of your group or whatever, especially if the group isn't aiming particularly high. That's what Asdara was saying. Like, if the group is just doing a vet Rockgrove, why not an Oaken Soul build? Like, is it genuinely incapable? And then we were just sort of justifying that with it. You know, it's up to the group or the raid lead or whatever to set their own standards. If you think those standards are stupid or unreasonable, you may be right, but it's still, you know, make your own group, then it's your decision. And then the discussion sort of broadened out into, should we use the group finder even for things that have quite strict requirements? Or should we save those for guilds and things like that? I don't have a strong opinion on that, to be honest, but I sort of stand by the idea that if it's your group, you make the rules. While you live under my roof, young man. That kind of thing. But yeah, thanks El Timto, appreciate it. An imposter syndrome, lure boss out of the wall range. Yeah, you can do that as well, yeah. Pluvio, my mentality in PvP is kill shit before it can kill me. So you have under 30k, around 20k resist. If I die, it's a skill issue. Yeah, I often run with 21, 22k. Alright, let's, Devil's Master, if you've got... If you have a supply quest, please abandon it. And I will share this one with you. Do I have something planned soon? No? Not particularly. And Elton, and hi, can't my cake, everyone. Be right back. Lily Triad have 1 point in health around... because 20k looks better than 27. I see. This guy should have more health. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there were very few of us there. Like 4 people. Plus a companion that died immediately. And welcome on in, Ginger Wolf. How's it going? An older gentleman. No son of mine will use Oaken Soul. we don't take kindly to your 1 bar builds around here. Alright, let me try sharing this again. Still says unable to share. Don't know if that's because you got the same one. Devil's Master, but yeah, Covenant Undead Ichor is the supply quest I was going to do. But yeah, if you want to start with the camp, let's find a camp. There's one in the north. Go in there now. But yeah, guys, remember to follow the channel, support the channel if you are able to, if you appreciate what Ninja Balls is doing, not just here on Twitch. Obviously, the Discord, the YouTube, all of that stuff, it takes a ton of work. I'm full-time on it, and I still don't have time to get everything done. Like I said, I'm working 18-hour days, basically, in all of November to get everything updated in time, so any support would be massively appreciated. If your sub is going to run out soon, or if you've got a Prime available, any of the above is always immensely, immensely appreciated. Never taken for granted. Yeah, and if you are not in a position to sub, if you don't got it like that, yeah, a follow or just showing up, sitting through ads, talking in chat, all of that is immensely appreciated also. All of it. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Runezar, how's it going? Maya's feeling better? She is feeling a bit better, yeah. And I think you missed that one, didn't you, Devil's Master? Let's do one more.
Not so close.
Thank you, Runezar. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome on in, everyone. This is Khan, one half of the Ninja Balls team. Maya is feeling a lot better, but she's at work today. She does have a day coming up this week, so we may revisit some of the stuff we had planned for Halloween and give you guys a delayed horror stream.
Over here, mercenary.
Scream stream. Yeah, we pledged to play Resident Evil, the OG, or the remaster. And I think that's still the plan. Plus a few other things. We are also... yeah, exactly. Maya! Hey, Erin, how you doing? Hope you're having a good week so far. Happy Tuesday. Erin! Erin! Welcome, welcome. I don't know why I gave you a death metal greeting there. I hope that's okay. How are you getting on with your death metal playlist, by the way, from Vezok? Enjoying it? Another Templars beaming from, like, a safe distance. Okay, well, you definitely got that one, Devil's Master. Nice. So that's one down. How about we go get the Covenant Undead Ichor? I'll port ahead. Although I'm going to go to Glenumbra. If you want to go straight there. Lily Dryad. Zospi like, let's change up the quest names and sell it as a new quest. Maybe so. Thanks everyone for being here, by the way. Really appreciate it. Always appreciate the hang. And runes are splendid. Nothing worse than being sick and having to work. Yeah, right. She's not fully recovered, so reserve a little bit of sympathy if you have any in reserve. There you can port to me. If anyone else wants to join, if you're on PCEU, just to get these dailies done nice and quick, do it. You can plus up to @TheKhan. Or if you're in the guild, you can find me there. I am online, obviously. I should wait until Devil's Master is here. Runes, I'm fair to moderate. Thank you, Khan, unlike the weather. That is pure, like, UK weather forecast. Moderate or good, isn't it? Like the shipping forecast. Oh no! Missed one. Oh no, we got it. Nice. Devil's Master's getting all the kills and missing all of it. Are we already done? Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's I know people don't want to hear this sometimes, but the number of comments underneath our Writhing Wall video, when I explain how the quests work, what to do, and yada yada, people are so annoyed that these quests take a long time to do, and I get it. It's irritating, and it's not what people want to hear when I'm like, well, just group up and go to a different area, or make sure you kill everything, not just the specified enemy type, and it will happen for you a little bit faster, but people are still mad, even though there's a way around it. I'm assuming, Devil's Master, you just wanted to do one of each, in which case I'm going to port to the Cold Harbor public dungeon again. We don't have to go that far, but screw it, it's pretty reliable. Lots of sympathy, please. Yeah, exactly, Maya. All the sympathy. Yeah, get well soon. Thanks, Erin. Erin, I'm yet to get the playlist from it. All over the place in my musical journey. Best place to be, man. My library is already 350 gig. Did you ever check out Reign of Kindo? When you first asked this question, I gave you like 5 or 6 bands that were very good and quite weird. And Reign of Kindo was one of them. Just unusual. Like a jazzy indie band from Texas. Like incredible instrumental proficiency. Like they're all, you'd think they were a prog group. You know, they're all so good at their instruments. Like master musicians, but they don't make that kind of music. It's sort of like jazzy indie, like I said. Very, very cool. Yeah, are we talking music recommendations? Because I've got some. And to be fair, Erin, once you do get to those guys, you can port to me, Devil's Master, if you like, for the Charging the Lens quest. That credit to Eggbirds for that recommendation. He recommended them to me a couple of years ago, and holy crap, they're so good. It's not even my type of music, necessarily, but yeah, Pluvio's got music recommendations, that's for sure. Man, I was listening to Rainbow the other day when I was doing some work. You know, Rising by Rainbow. This is the band that Richie Blackmore formed after he left Deep Purple. And they got Ronnie James Dio in as the singer. Holy crap, so much fun. Mid-70s, so it's pretty fucking old school. But man, the riffs, Dio's voice, holy crap. It sends me every time, I love it. Anyone got the gloves from the Halloween motif? Let me check. What's it called? Wicker Chain. I got nothing, apparently. Fuck these Writhing Wall event pages. They keep giving me armor. Moose. Oh, I'm sorry, man. And Nata, is it just me or is the Tideborn crafting station on Solstice changed to Fellowship? Oh. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's not just you. What the hell? How strange. Well, we should be done, right? Devil's Master, that's it. I think that's 4 for 4. I'm porting back to Solstice. Runza, yeah, still miss being at sea at times. And Moose, just skip the quest sending you to collect things. The other 3 are much quicker, and it's very rare I don't get all 15 souls from the incursion. Yeah, it's happening a little bit more often for me, but not every time. I don't know how it works. People are saying it might be the first people who get there. I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, gimme. Rainbow with Dio is great, yeah. Alatara, holy crap, I always thought I was Holy Diver. I need to remove that American Heart Association campaign. I think that ended yesterday? It's definitely ending if it's not over yet. Oh, that was pretty handy. We got those done pretty fast together. Right, I'm gonna do a quick Hollow Jack and Crow. Do you particularly want to do those, Devil's Master? I was gonna solo them just for fun. I don't know why I enjoy soloing the Hollow Jack, but I just do. I think it's because everyone is so reluctant to solo it. It's slower, but so much more reliable if you just solo the damn thing.
My friends, Lord Hollowjack's strength is growing once again.
Arja. Foolish quest.
Alright, let's do the Crow first. Not really doing those. If there are certain rewards they drop, no, they don't drop anything. Just a unique plunder skull for the day. But yeah, okay. Devil's Master, thanks. Thank you for grouping. Okay, let's always keep a couple of plunder skulls unopened. Usually don't need more than 4. Yeah, there we go. To get however many feathers you need. But Lord, I will invite 3 players most of the time and tell them, no, we don't need more players. Right. It's just the fact that the first time I did it with any other people,
Yes.
I got the pull and nobody interrupted, so I died, and it made me feel and look bad. And I was like, there's no way I would have died to that if I'd been by myself. Crow is nice to solo Jack. I always have resource issues. Yeah, well, I can show a way around that. Bluvio, well, since we mentioned metal, I don't think this will be too out there. Just some quick ones. Necro Goblicon is one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, that's fun shit. Now I'm gonna have to listen to those later. And then there's Tala, Hungry Lights, and Code Orange. I don't know Code Orange. I think I know Hungry Lights either. Thank you for that. And the last 3 are all kind of connected. Code Orange, Tala have the same drummer. Hungry Lights is the lead vocalist of Tala's side project. Well, there we go. This stream sponsored by Tala. Thanks to that, Pluvio. And Alatariel, yeah. Hollow Jack, resource issues. Moose, yeah, I do no more than 4 for Hollow Jack. After that, you just get way worse stamina drain, and other people get you killed. Oh, hang on. I've got to stop fucking doing this. I keep pulling this guy and then realizing I've got Rune of Displacement, which I do not want or need. I just use these moments in the middle to recast stuff. It's at 50. I'm not going to ult him again. I'm going to see if I can gen ult for the other boss. A whole minute? That's actually pretty slow, but fine. We'll take it. That's one. Aaron making notes. Most, I got the Cold Harbor house yesterday from an event box. I would rather have treasure. Yeah, I got a 10k treasure the other day. I don't think I've had any really big one.
The crow. Yes, you say.
Well, she was very excited. Yes? Wow. Man, so much crapola that I don't need. Actually, I'll wait with that. I've still got one more box to get.
I need your... Be careful.
And we did get just enough ult. Perfect. So now you have the treasure, since you... Yeah, you can have treasure since you already have the house. She's excited to see you. Very excited, right? Will-O-Wisp is 10k the highest in the loot pool? It can't be. It can't be. I think if you get the drop for the Cold Harbor Surreal Estate house, surely... because what they've said is that if you already own it and you get that drop, you get the RNG, you don't get the house because you already own that collectible, you will get a very valuable treasure instead. Whatever the hell that means. But I haven't seen anything that's worth that much. People have speculated that it's like a treasure worth 100k. I think it should be worth $1 million since that's what the house costs in gold. Right? What's the new prizes this Halloween event, Wild Saber? It's basically these style pages, the Wicker Chain style pages. And
Your eyes have been trusted in this realm.
and hag matrons of face and body markings. Just need to go into 70. And then he'll go into mechanic. I need to switch food as well. There we go. Switch food real quick. And you get a few seconds to heavy attack those enemies if you're worried your stam pool is a little low just before this phase begins. Just before he fears you, you should be able to heavy attack them. And if you want to get to where the crow lands a little bit more quickly, try and keep a nice wide overview of the area and you'll see a little purple flicker just before the crow spawns. See if I can see it. No, I missed it this time. And that is a bad, bad spawn. I'm not going to go for that one. You only need to do 2, right? In the first phase, if you're by yourself. Yeah. Okay, should be able to ult him now. Oh, that's annoying. The fear right in the middle of my beam. Of course. And now if you get him to 40, you'll go into the mechanic again, and you can skip everything. Okay, that's 40. So we can heavy attack now, we can chill. That was a little bit annoying.
Crouch! He must not hear or see you.
And try and get him to come for you far away on the first one. Just like little tricks that'll make it a little bit easier. I'll not sell if it's worth a mil. Just keep it as a collectible. Yeah, maybe. Safety walk's nice. How's it going? I don't see the crow. Oh, it's because it's right next to me. Okay, so this is going to be a risky one. Because he's almost on top of me already. Oh no, he's alright. He'll always go to the point where you were when the moment really looks at you and targets you. So you can bait him, you can take him further away and stuff. Just buy yourself more time. And in execute here, you can, it doesn't always seem to happen, but you can skip the scarecrow mechanic. Which is obviously very, very handy. It means that you won't have the same horrible resource drain. This is usually what kills people here in execute. If you're able to skip it. Oh, here we go. He's down at 30. I think we made the skip. Cheeky heavy attack. Oh, that was a mistake. I didn't see he was doing another one of those. Yeah, this is where you can run into issues easily. Oh my god, I just can't restore anything. Yeah, this is bad. I started with too little stamina in the final phase. Just can't get out of it. And we even skipped the scarecrow. Just very annoying. It's a very, very weird fight. I don't like the way it's designed at all. It's not so much that it's difficult, it's just kind of frustrating. Do you know what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm constantly having to break free and there's no way for me to restore resources because I get interrupted through every heavy attack. You just got to make sure you start the end with a full stamina bar, which I stupidly did not do. And Will-O-Wisp out of the house a few days in, haven't had more than 10k. I mean, it's supposed to be a very rare drop. Frankly, I'm a little bit disappointed that so many people are getting it. But I guess it's a good thing. Rewards are equally awesome as the monthly login rewards. Yeah, right. Valor, German community manager, said 1 million if you already got the house to anyone who got it. Yeah, and that doesn't make it so, you know, just because someone said it. Where are they getting that from? I think the issue is that if somebody gets a treasure, are they really going to notice how much it's worth? You know, I just sell them, you know what I mean? I don't look at how much they are each time. Hey, Lubosh. It's not a new arena, this is a Halloween event. This is the Holojack boss. I'm just soloing it because I'm weird. I don't think you're supposed to solo it. It's perfectly doable, I just messed it up. I went into the execute with not enough resources. And it's a race, basically.
They are illusions. Don't be shaken by them.
Maybe the drop rate is the same as ethereal dust. Only got it once ever. I've had 20 ethereal dusts, maybe, max. The drop rate on this is much higher, I would think. Our Discord is just full of people saying, "Oh, I got the house," you know. But yeah, hey, Uzi Raz and Lubosh, how's it going? Yeah, most 70-40, there's no point burning more because he cheats and heals back up. Yeah. I was about to say I really like this fight, but yeah, the resource draining is annoying. I suppose in other respects, like the fact that you can avoid the AoEs and stuff like that generally, like I think he only stunned me once because I was paying attention, and when he did stun me, that was my fault. And probably if I hadn't made that mistake, I would have had the resources to make it through the execute. Maybe. It would have been close, but I like that there is a little bit of... it's not even skill, it's just like a little bit of footwork, a little bit of awareness will help you. Hello, Bosch. Oh, okay, finally someone read my name good. Yeah, no worries. My wife's cousin is married to a guy named Lubosh, so... but that's Czech. I don't know if... it's obviously a Polish name as well. But yeah, welcome on in. There's something new in Rollis inventory. A weather changer totem. Is that new? Weather change has been around for a while, isn't it? Or is it... is this a new version of it? And Pluvio was about to say, yeah, I really like this fight. Yeah, Lord, I would notice because I always check items when selling. And hola, hola, ¿qué tal? See, I just pressed Inspired Scholarship and nothing happened. That's not normal. Just need him to 10 more %. If you're able to see when these guys jump up in the air, just start moving your feet. And when the boss bends over like that, yeah, because if you get hit by one of the ads jumping, there we go. If you get hit by one of the ads jumping, lands on you, it'll do a knockback and you won't be able to avoid his root, his thorn AoE. And that is a big problem if you're trying to conserve your stamina and execute. I like that they made it soloable. And that you can do it fast now as well. Let's see if we can spot the crow this time. I missed it the other time. It's just a weird little purple glitch. They may have fixed it, I suppose, but unlikely. Yeah, there we go. Don't know if you saw that. There was a little purple flash just over here. Just before the crow begins to descend. It just means that if you're really far away, you can get there a little bit earlier than you normally would. Oh, that's a pisser.
That was fun. Let's do it again.
%. Oh, that was almost nasty timing as well. He's at... oh no, he's at 41. Okay, fair enough. Now he's at 40. Oh, this sucks. Why? Just no sustain whatsoever. I gotta make sure I come back
You must stay hidden for now.
with, not with like an incredibly low amount of stamina this time. Oof. That was a bit tight. Have I finished the Rune Master boss yet? Yeah. Yeah, were you here when we were talking about that? I can go and do that again. If you guys want. It's fun just messing around and soloing stuff. Especially now that I've released that video on YouTube. Just to put my money where my mouth is and say, yes, it really does work. I promise. Thank you again for all the lovely feedback on that video, by the way. If you haven't seen it, just go to YouTube, type in Ninja Pulls, and it's the latest one. Tired of being squishy? All about how to take just a trial DPS setup, like nothing, not a solo setup or anything, but a regular pure damage setup, and just a few basic tweaks to give yourself crazy amounts of survivability, potentially. Oh, I thought we were done. Must have miscounted. Shit. Okay, that's a bit better. $13. $25. Oh, that's mean. I refuse to break free. 2%. Oh no, no! Oh, it's so unfair. It'd be easy actually if I had more range. Like on a mag blade with Impale, that would be just ridiculous, wouldn't it? Oh damn it, it's a while since I wiped in here. I'm doing it twice in one go.
Can't be trusted in this realm.
Hey, Khan won against the Galen Preserver last night. Yeah, finally got rid of it. It was just a matter of being very, very careful and execute. Soloing it down to like 40% or whatever. I can't remember when it kicks in, but when it starts enraging in execute, I just kind of ran away and kept my dots on it, honestly. Another day, another Tales of Tribute gold box, not giving me scrap of the spearhead. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, the boss bends over like that. Yeah, that's when you want to avoid his his thorny prong. This is actually annoying me. I wonder what's different. Have I lowered my damage or something? Did I change something? I should have checked my CP before pulling. I can also make more of an effort to cleave down these ads a little bit. Yeah, when he's doing this, when he like reaches for the floor, that's when he's doing his... So not fair, man. I was out of that. Give me a break. That's when he's doing his thorn mechanic. 69.
Crouch! He must not hear or see you.
Bad Lily. Not at all. Not at all. Right, do we see that purple flash? There it was. I don't know if you guys are seeing on stream, it's very, very subtle, but it really does help if you can spy it early enough You don't have to wait the extra 2-3 seconds for the bird to land. Pretty nice. I don't usually see the second one. Alright, we should be done. But hold on. Watched him in game doing it. Are you actually watching? That's fun. Normally I wouldn't recommend dodge rolling something, but I got pinned just before his thorn there, and I wasn't going to eat the second CC, so I'd rather dodge roll. Also, CC immunity just seems to not apply here at all. I guess fear and other CCs don't necessarily have the same cooldown. Is that correct? To be fair, I'm not entirely clear on that. Something I should know. Anyway, here we are. Full stam.
Crouch. He's too powerful like this.
Let's hope we don't get unlucky and execute again. If you skip the scarecrows, it's generally okay. I guess maybe I'm not making the skip. I haven't actually checked. I didn't look to see if there were any scarecrows up. Eventually, I think they do spawn in, but you can delay him summoning them by quite a bit if you are fast when he spawns back in after this. And Moose, look, he's at 39%. Doesn't seem to have healed up this time. But he did before. He went from 69 up to 70. So I don't know what's going on there. Wiping an overland, unsub. Is this overland? I guess it is. I don't know, I've mixed feelings about this. I kind of like the capriciousness. I think it would be quite fun to watch. If any of you guys were like on my Discord soloing this, I would certainly tune in to watch. Even if you win first try, or even if you wipe 10 times. I think it would be interesting to see either way. There's an element of like the outcome isn't guaranteed. You know? Alright, let's push him. It's down to 28. No, there is a scarecrow there, isn't there? Same again, just no stam. Or Magica. That was just very annoying at the end. I guess I've lowered my damage somehow.
Return to me.
Not sure how. I don't think I was using a Null Arca. I think I had Typeborn on before. That's it, isn't it? Was I under pen on this guy? Was that it? Shoot, I should have checked. I'm pretty sure that's it. So I lost a little bit of pen. Anyway, you can still do it. Null Arca, just not a good call. Over Tideborn. Man, that's interesting. I really felt the difference. And it was... Wow, it was like 20 seconds slower. As well. It's usually just over 5 minutes. Anyway, there we go. That was that. Problem is that it's 3 scarecrows at the end. Yeah, that's why if you can delay him summoning them, it's in the bag. Like, I've once managed to kill him before he summoned any. But on that time, if you get him down to... if you get him down nice and quick, he will first summon those lasers, you know, the roving AoEs, then he will summon ads, and only after that, when he's done with all that shit, then he'll start summoning scarecrows. And by that time, you can have him at like 15, 12, 10%, and then just get rid of him quickly before the scarecrows cause a problem. But yeah, you're right, it becomes unsustainable very, very quickly if they're up for too long. So, that's dumb. Why have I been running Null Arca? I wonder. Well, that's fixed. Got Tideborn on now, so should have quite a lot more pen. Enough to make a difference. Tedmeister, hello! Yeah, Aaron, that was close. I'll play save and kill the scarecrows when I solo him. Yeah, that's how I was doing it. It's when I discovered that, oh, you could just skip if you have a Languid Eye. If you have one of these and you drop it, and I think if you were to run a Baylorg mechanical acuity setup as well, I think that would be the best way to do this boss solo. Because think about it, you can get him down most of the way before acuity runs out, and then he goes into sneaky mode, and then you'll definitely be off cooldown by the time he comes back, and you can just have an absolutely sick opening burst each time. I don't know, but it might be a nice way of doing things. And Aeronis, welcome on in. Thank you very much for the follow. Alright, so let's go into that Rune Master boss. Hey, Sir Locke, what's up, man? Not a huge amount. Having a nice stream, doing some event nonsense. We are going to be doing some horror stuff later this week. So catch up with Halloween, the stuff that we missed. When Maya was ill, we had to cancel our Screamathon. So that's coming up. We're going to be doing more gameplay of other games in the evenings. I think we're going to call it Games Fest Encore, but it's not going to be a different game every day. We'll stay with one game for like multiple days and either complete it or, you know, just play a good old chunk of it and just dive a bit more into their development, their history and all that stuff. Whatever you guys are into, essentially. We will listen to you guys every step of the way. I'm not doing anything like that today. But how are you doing, Sir Locke? Having some trouble deciding between Stam and Macro. Any recommendations? It doesn't matter that much. They play almost identically. However, the fact that the meta tends to lean towards medium armor at the moment in PvE, and the fact that stamina spammables tend to be better, means I would suggest stamina. So it's getting a message from the missus. In fact, I'm tempted. No, let's not do it. I was just wanted to go and do the Hollowjack guy again with Tideborn this time. But fuck it, I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of time. Let's go and do that world boss. Rune Master, where is he? That's him. So yeah, so look, Stamina Necro by a slight margin. Surely this boss is nukeable, right, with a group or with proper nuke setups. Yeah, Danyo, Sin, Maya, and I did that. I think we killed him in 2 phases. I'm not sure, though. That was, like, a couple of years ago when it was new. Or maybe, no, last year when it was new. Problem is, Lubosh, there's almost always somebody there on this boss. Like, trying to get footage of it was a real pain. In fact, was it you that, am I totally imagining that? Was it you that, that, like, tried to hold off and let me get the footage I needed? And Zolok saying, thanks man, I was also explaining the game and classes to my lady last night. She and I really love the class video, man. Keep up the great work. Oh, the class overview. Oh, thank you. I will endeavor to keep up the great work. Thank you for describing it that way. That's awesome. Glad it was helpful. That was a really fun project. While I'm absolutely in favor of DPS and following the meta or whatever you want to call it, optimizing, I suppose we should call it. optimizing for each fight and doing all that stuff, sometimes it is fun to kick back and think, well, what is affecting my engagement with the game? You know? And stuff like the visuals, the sound design, the theme of each class, these things are really important. If anyone doesn't believe me that the theme of the class matters, just look how much upset there was around subclassing. Not from everyone, but a lot of people said, oh no, my class identity is gone, or I'm going to miss my class identity. Even from people who embraced it, a lot of people expressing regrets that, well, my Sork isn't going to really be a Sork anymore. It's not going to feel the same when I play it. No one's class is getting weaker. We're all giving access to way more stuff. It's like definitely a good thing from an optimization min-maxy standpoint. But a lot of people were expressing that regret. That, yeah, when I press that skill, it's not going to be crystal fragments anymore. It's going to be puncturing sweep or whatever. Or blighted blast bones or whatever the hell they're using instead. And it just doesn't feel the same, even if the damage numbers are identical or better. So clearly, it does matter. These things do matter. Game developers spend a lot of time getting this shit down. I'd love to have a chat with CJ Greb or someone on his team one day. He's the art director on the Elder Scrolls Online, has been for a long time now. He's awesome. His team is obviously great. I mean, look at that shit. Like the idea that these aren't working at the top of their game in an engine which is, you know, what's how many years old? 16 years old is the engine at this point, with some tweaks and updates over the years. But basically, they are working magic to make the game look as good as it does, and to convey all this crazy stuff. Like, look no further than the Arcanist. The sound effects are insane. It's the soundscape of science fiction. You know, of warp drive and cracks in the space-time continuum and all that kind of stuff. I love it. Okay, so someone killed this guy right before we got here. That's a shame. And so, look, yeah, I 100% think subclassing has made me overwhelmed a bit sometimes. Still helps to ground myself and just enjoy the game instead of min-maxing all the time. Agreed. I do not min-max everywhere. I min-max in groups where it is appropriate to do so. And I don't insist that anyone else does unless they are in my groups that, you know, where everyone else is doing it. But yeah, most of the time we do not need to do this, so we should maybe free ourselves of that. It can be fun as well, like if you're somebody like Lucht. He enjoys min-maxing even when he's just doing a world boss, and that's a lot of fun. Remember when a year ago after Amsterdam, I think it was, we came back and that event was still on? The one where you could get... Oh, here we go. Let me turn the game down a little bit.
Regret interrupting me, trespasser.
But this guy is so much easier to solo than people necessarily realize. The companion immediately dead. You can just take them out with one bow proc. Especially if you have Ellie sus. And you pop that on them first. And let's hope he doesn't port away. Thank you for the Ansel proc, dickhead. He always ports away there, doesn't he? What a tosser. Yeah, so not soloed, but still very easy. What companion do you think is the best? Oh, I have no idea. I don't play with them. They're all rubbish. For combat. You know, they're designed to be quite weak for combat. Otherwise, it would break the game. I don't know. I think Zereth Vars is very interesting. He's the only one I've got, but I only got him because I had to, as a Twitch sub goal as part of our September celebration. And I don't know. I love the voiceover. He looks amazing, but they're just so useless. I don't generally recommend anybody use them except for fun, for like RP value. And I think what would make the system so much cooler for me, it's not necessarily everyone's preference, but I would prefer it enormously if these guys were just how should I put it? If they were vehicles for story content. I think that's what I would prefer. It's a new house? Did know that was just a world boss. But Lord, I wiped at Crow last night because I wasn't concentrating. We were talking in voice which roles I'll be playing in VSS hard mode, and then we finished what died to that. Go ahead and say it, Khan, El Timtor. He tasks me, and I shall have him. I need to watch that movie again. I love that shit. That is Khan Noonien Singh, as in The Wrath of Khan, the second Star Trek movie by Nicholas Meyer. What's his name? Ricardo Montalban? What an absolute legend. He was like... Wasn't he in his 60s or something? But he really, like... put on the muscle for that role. Absolute beefcake. Love it. Bluey, surely this boss is nukeable with... Yeah, sorry, when you said that. But Lord, yeah, I ported to your location, wanted to see the epic fight. Yeah. Moose, I've finally seen the game overseen from Aliens now. Yeah, I saw that. The way he sounds, when I'd only heard the clip on stream, I thought it sounded more like someone's car had broken down and a mile away from the gas station. Yeah, it's like the lowest point in the movie. When that happens, they're like, oh my god, we're fucked. You feel the guy, right? You can't blame him for being full of despair. Ah, thanks, Lily. Thanks for the whisperage. Yeah, is that new? I know there's something that housing people have been using for a while, but if that's brand new, then, yeah, news to me. Which Resident Evil game did you finalize to play? It was the first one, but the remaster. So they didn't do a remake of that one, did they? Just a remaster. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, Moose. It's up there, man. I love that movie so much. It's great. And Sigourney Weaver is just phenomenally cool. Michael Biehn as well. It's kind of crazy. Like, he's very famous and everything, don't get me wrong, but you watch him in that movie and it's like, how did this guy not do way more stuff? Like, he looks like such a badass, and his performance is really decent. He's just a grunt. No offense. None taken. I'm coming to the vamp. Greetings. I use Dialogue Brace set with HoloJack. It works well. Oh, to save on sneak costs. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, as you can see, not necessary, but and you're then gimping your damage against the boss, which I would argue is more important. But yeah, whatever works. Dialogue Brace is a fun one. I have a set of that on my main for like sneaky dailies, like daily endeavors and stuff. How you doing, Ted Meister? Still on my MagDK. Aaron, I always skip ad stuff. Elton, to my best of mine. Hope she feels better soon. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. And Pluvio was saying, these days Sam Crow is just the way to go. Crow setups are so loaded into Stam, not necessarily meaning sustain issues with Stam, but my Crow setups have exactly one Magicka costing skill. Yeah. Fortunately, Magicka can actually get away with it. But yeah, Stam is just... And Lubosh, are you doing Infinite Archives sometimes? Yeah. Do it quite a bit, especially when Maya's here. We play together. Crawdad, thank you for the follow, man. Thank you. Welcome on in. Ninja Balls, how's it going? But Lord, I've been leveling all the skill lines on NA past days because of double XP. Event used so crystal frag procs. Event used so crystal frag procs. Puncturing sweep sounds like a great idea. It is. And Ted must have been using the golden vendor for gathering my monster helms. Nice. Yeah, if you've got the AP, why the hell not? But none of the dungeons, like, none of them are difficult to get. To be clear. But yeah, what people do... I've always been a little bit confused why people go to the golden vendor. Because she doesn't sell anything that's difficult to get. But I guess if you're a PvPer and you just hate doing dungeons... and you're missing one of those things, then it's perfect. So yeah, nice. Would be a great new house, Daybell. It would, wouldn't it? Boss, this is my house. This is my house. Get out of here. Like the beginning of, anyone see the original Amityville Horror? When they bring a priest to bless the house they've just moved into. And he goes into one of the upstairs rooms. And suddenly there are flies all over the windows. Like, the room is black because the window is covered in flies. And no sunlight is coming in. And he just hears this horrendous demonic voice saying, "Get out." Like that. And he just makes his excuses. Yeah. Congrats on the new place. I'm out of here. Bye. That's a fun film.
I'm glad someone came along.
This guy is such a ham actor, isn't he? Oh, I'm dying.
But soon it won't be a ruse. Oh, bastards got me good.
You're too good, some would say. Upcoming Khan and my companions are the best. Thank you. I had Pat's Ember said, "Don't listen to the mean kind. He doesn't know what he's talking about." Yeah, they're fun, right? But so if you're asking like which companion is best, I guess I would suggest they're all equally weak from a combat standpoint, but I don't think that's why people use them. It's for the fun and the little quirks and the way that they look or the voiceovers. I really like Miri's voiceover. She's a pretty vanilla companion, but I think the voiceover is really lovely to listen to, that lady's voice. Zereth Var, obviously. I can't even do an impression, but that character sounds amazing. Zereth Var. That was terrible. Excuse me. But yeah. This one has a sexy voice, yes? It's like Antonio Banderas on a massive bender, and he's just got up and he's got like morning throat. That's what Zerethvar sounds like.
Me and my comrades landed here to load supplies.
Just an amazing voiceover. Do you have a tank, Lubosh? Yeah, I've got well, technically I've got 20 characters. All of them could be tanks, but I have 7. Yeah, I have 7 tanks. One of each class.
I'm not leaving this beach, stranger.
Yeah, Zereth is likes to play catcher's favorite. Fair enough. I get it. I see that. And Moose, has anyone had more than one Wormwrithe style page drop in one day? I don't think I have. No. I would assume no, but only giving me armor pages is getting annoying. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. But Lord, it might be that you aren't getting weapon style pages yet because you don't have update 48 on console. Ooh. I've had Battle Axe twice. Okay, well that settles that. That's fairly shitty. Yeah. Exactly. Aaron, yeah, it was remastered in 2002. Moose, I found Alien decent. Aliens, kind of boring. What? That is kind of amazing to me, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. It is art. It is culture. You're not supposed to... If we all took away the same thing from every experience like that, that would be boring as fuck. I mean, it's possible that you watch... I'm assuming, actually, you probably watch the director's cut or the extended version or whatever. And that one is quite long. And probably not recommended for first viewing. Because they get into the shit, and then they get into the shit again and again. I think one person described it to James Cameron as 200 miles of bad road. Because it is just unrelenting. You start off with a bit of tension, and then things quickly go bad, and then they get worse and worse and worse. And hence the game over, man! Game over! And all that stuff. And then, yeah, as they're just getting completely slaughtered in the final act. yeah, you feel like you've been watching the movie for a long time, because you have. So yeah, it could be that
Cultists called it
your experience was weakened by the fact that you went straight to a director's cut,
comrade.
which I would imagine is what you would have got if you watched it on a streaming platform. Lily Drive, for the housing people in Infinite Archive, there's a furnishing that is 3 million gold in Guild Traders. Explain. And what might that item be? A furnishing plan. Right, but it's not guaranteed. So I wouldn't go there to make gold, right? It's just a crappy pet. Like, it helps a bit, but it can also ruin your stacks. So use with caution. But yeah, I can port there right now and show you what it does. It doesn't really do anything, it's just kind of fun. A big Necrom gate. Oh, interesting. Thanks, Lily. Thanks for the heads up. And is this a temporary drop, or is it at the vendor, or...
You there, halt! There's great danger ahead.
Yeah, it's just a combat pet, exactly. It can take a little aggro, do a little damage. Nothing amazing, but every little bit helps. Yeah, it's handy when it aggroes something. Like if you're fighting a marauder, and you've got one ad that goes off to fight your little buddy. That could be pretty handy, actually, not gonna lie. What class do you think is best on tank, Lubosh? Oh, his class isn't really a thing anymore. I tend to run... on my tanks, my default, like my dungeon tank right now, is Earthen Heart, Winter's Embrace, and Daedric Summoning. Daedric Summoning, obviously not a tanking line. I'm just running it for the Atro. And if I wear Saxleal and Lucent in dungeons, then I can give the group Major Resolve with the Frost Cloak. I can do Minor Brutality with Mountain's Blessing. I can do Stagger with Stone Giants. And I can give Major Berserk with the Atronach. That's a lot. And then I can wear like Lucent Echoes or something else. That's what I would run in a dungeon. In Trials, it's going to depend. Are you the main tank, the off-tank, and what does the raid lead want, etc. Is it that lonely people love companions much more? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. Don't say it like that, yeah? But Lord, I wanted to kill every single companion this morning on LA. They pulled the bosses out of the camps. Oh, that sucks. I hate short movies. Movies should be long. Oh, I completely disagree. I think movies should work extremely hard to be 90 minutes and no more. And if they have to be longer than 90 minutes, they should fucking justify it. There's a reason that format works so well. Oh, but yeah, let's summon the little guy. What is it? Is it a tool? Yes. So this is it. That's all it does. And let's pull and just show what he does. I mean, get it, but it's fairly, like, it doesn't really do anything. Let's see if I kill this guy. Look, he's just zapping away at this dude. He's got no damage whatsoever. They do have a spinny move, which knocks the ads back. That can be very annoying because you're trying to stack them. So again, if you're fussy about your tight stacks, then the pet can actually be a real pain in the ass. But when they do a spin and knock everything back, some of the animations are very, very funny. Like seeing an Ogrim get a knockback is very, very funny because they go completely arse of a tea kettle with those big feet up in the air. It's worth having the pet just for that. Just for the one time every 30 minutes when it knocks back an Ogrim. Plus, he's kind of cute. But Lord, next year is the time for Ember and New Hearts Week. They already added the achievements. Furnishing plan is bound by purchase weekly. Also, it's a vendor thing. Yeah, right, I see. I thought you were talking about something which you could farm and sell. That's just where my mind went. But yeah, obviously if you buy it here, you can't sell it on. And Lubish, don't worry, gotta go, see you later. Love the director's cut of Aliens, like to play catch, especially the part where they added the guns and the tunnels, as it adds to the tension and threat level they are truly facing. Yeah, I don't even remember what's not in the original theatrical cuts. Moose, I saw an image of some costume from the Hearts event. Looked very kinky. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's my top 5 favorite films. Easy, yeah, probably mine too. Haven't seen my Ember in years, but still. Stampede to boss, companion pulls the boss out of Stampede. Stampede to boss, repeat. Yeah. Imagine Lord of the Rings being 90 minutes each would be shit. I disagree. I don't think you can say that, objectively. I mean, that's like saying the films are shitter because then they don't contain all of the stuff in the books. I do think you got a point. Not every movie can be 90 minutes, I get it. But I think every blockbuster these days assumes they can get away with 2.5 fucking hours. Like, no superhero movie should be over 90 minutes. I'm sorry. Fight me. They've got nothing to say which can't be said in that short a space of time. And I don't think... This is going to sound really patronizing, so apologies in advance. I don't think your typical cinema goer is clued into this shit. They don't realize, unless they are like big film fans and watch lots of old films as well. It used to be normal for a film to be 90 minutes, and if they'd go over, it was generally because they had some big justification. I'd say The Lord of the Rings qualifies. I do get it, but I don't think they would necessarily be shit just because they were shorter. They would have way more energy. They would sweep along. There are all these dead spots in The Lord of the Rings where people get bored. Not me. I love the stories, so I'm there for it. If anything, make them longer for me, but that's not... I'm not talking about making a better film. In my mind, it's like I want to see more of this incredible realization of Middle-earth. Silent Knight, hello! Is he so good for new person in start, especially with the catch-up content? There's no catch-up content in this game, really. There is a ton of stuff to do. There are a lot of sets that you can collect, but you don't need that many. There are crafted sets that you can get people to make for you straight off the bat. So yeah, I'd say it's very friendly for new players. And it doesn't do that thing that WoW does, for example, where you have to grind out the new gear every new patch and all the old stuff you had it becomes trash. ESO doesn't do that. There are sets that people are using from nearly 10 years ago, which are still very good. And like they're up there in terms of endgame sets. So yeah, I think it's pretty friendly to new players. The one thing that's tough is like knowing where the hell am I supposed to start in this game. There's a lot to do. But yeah, I want all the useful information told to me in a natural way. Obviously don't make it long with lots of filler. I don't know. It's like, how often do you listen to The Ring Cycle by Wagner? You know, that is unquestionably a fantastic musical work, but it takes more than a day to listen to the entire thing, or whatever, so... Oh, this is feeling very buggy all of a sudden. My caster delayed. The knockback from that AoE was way too early. I mean, I only came in here to show the guys, so let's pour it out. It takes notes for future shenanigans with Balorda. The helper shines it really in pet builds. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. it's rubbish. But it's not designed to be that good. It's just, you might as well use it. It's a little bonus. Occasionally it's annoying because you have to, like, take a little bit longer to kill an ad. But there's no time limit in IA. If there was if time was a component of score, the pet would suck and it would piss people off and they wouldn't use it. But because time isn't a factor, it's quite nice. Occasionally, if you've got a marauder you've got to deal with, and like I said, it will pull an ad away so that you can kill everything from that wave without spawning the new wave and just focus on the marauder. Because that one little ad that's left will be left over. If that makes sense. Yeah, Moose might be why I prefer TV shows. Oh man, the open-ended, what you can do with a story arc in a TV show is just amazing. You cannot do that in films. They're so constrained by, well, storytelling. In cinema, you need an arc and you need to fucking wrap it up. Even if you've got other movies, the movie kind of needs to work on its own. You know, even if it's in part of a sequence of films. So yeah. I get what you're saying. Pain in the axe, you say? Yeah. But Lord, I joined a Chaos Trial once the tank was behaving like a companion. Ugh. Some months ago, they added the furnishing plans to the weekly IA vendor. Bought many there. Yeah, I've never bothered. Basically like a pet like you get from Visions. Yeah, it's exactly that. But it doesn't get upgraded except by your pets deal X amount of damage. Silent Night, wow, interesting, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome, I've downloaded it, came from New World, and I want a decent MMO game. I'd say the things to, that hopefully you will enjoy, this is my opinion, right? So it's not like necessarily objectively accurate information, but the things that really shine in ESO, hopefully you can see that right here, is the world building. It is freaking gorgeous. Don't know if you played Oblivion, but this is Skingrad from Oblivion. Beautifully redone. This is from last year's chapter release. And every year they get more and more beautiful. The world building is really cool, both literally, the way that they build the world and the way it looks. Gorgeous for an 11-year-old game. Soon to be 12. That's crazy. And also the world building from like a, you know what I mean, from a writing standpoint. And, you know, this is the ancient culture of this race. And here are the ruins that you find out in the world. Here's a cultural tradition that they adhere to, or which causes some conflict between them. That kind of stuff is really next level. Way better than MMOs usually are, because this isn't some cheesy, corny fantasy setting made up. I mean, it was originally for Arena. It was a D&D campaign that the two of the devs were playing with their mates. So it did start out as a corny, you know, generic fantasy setting, but they had enough cool ideas, especially with Daggerfall and Morrowind, that they then set it apart from the usual dross that you get with fantasy. And there's a lot of pressure on ZeniMax Online Studios to do the franchise justice. Bethesda will not let them mess with their beloved, valuable franchise, with their precious Elder Scrolls setting. And then the combat system is really interesting. If you came from New World, hopefully you'll feel somewhat at home. It's much more dynamic, targeted, and then the community is like without compare. It's a really, really lovely community here that we've got. And is it basically a pet? Yeah, sorry, I already answered that one. All right, folks. Well, it is 25 past 3. I think we're gonna have to call it there for today. Let's find somebody to raid off to. I really, really appreciate you guys hanging out today. Remember to support the channel if you'd like it to stay here. And if you want Ninja Pulls, the Discord, the website, obviously the Twitch stream, and the YouTube, if you want those things not to go away, please consider subbing to the channel at some point. Or, you know, supporting us through any other means. Do it on YouTube, Ko-fi, whatever. But thank you very much for today. Let's see if we can find someone else in ESO to raid off to. And yes, Silent Night, yeah. Right on, right on. Looking forward to playing. Thanks. Looks amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, and good luck. Hey, we got Herway. Why don't we raid off to Herway? Really nice guy, a friend of the guild, friend of Ninja Balls. He's an excellent PvPer and PvEer. He does a lot of everything. And he's French and super fun. And sometimes swears in French as well, so that's always fun. He'll probably be doing dailies. So, 3 things, guys. 3 favors I need you to do for me. 1, just hang out with Herway for at least a few minutes. Give him a shot. He's a lovely guy. He won't let you down. Please don't let me down. And 2, make a lot of noise in his chat, okay? Likes to play catch. Can we get the raid message? There we go. So, copy and paste that message and get ready to spam it in his chat once we raid in. And 3, give him a follow. If you like what you hear, like I said, he's a lovely dude. Definitely deserves our support and whatnot. And yeah, have a lovely, lovely afternoon. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Take it easy. Thanks for the follow. Juan Wamelda, much appreciated. Hey, Antone, Silent Night coming in, bro. ESO's amazing. Agreed. Alright, guys, take it easy. Have a lovely, lovely afternoon and evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.